I am just as willing to kick Aaron Rodgers out to save the future of this organization as I am to kick out Preston Smith. All right, so intro part 2. If you thought the last show was chaotic, this show is going to be even more chaotic and even more enjoyable. We're going to have what we call the talking stick today, because this is going to be a little rough. So before we start completely just screaming at each other, we'll go over the draft. And then the topic that shall not be named, we'll all give our opinions in the order that they appear on my screen, which is how YouTube will see it. So we'll go Mason, MJ, AJ, Chris, and Jake to cap that discussion off. And then we can commence to scream at each other after all of the preschoolers have given their piece. So that's what we'll be doing today.
What topic are you talking about that you didn't want
There was actually a draft.
He's trying to bait you. He's trying to bait you. We need to talk about the draft. Stop.
Yeah, there was actually a draft a week ago.
To bait you.
I was there. It was cool. Fun time. Yeah. So Packers picked a bunch of really big dudes and then a really fast guy in the first round. And then a sort of fast guy in the third round that will be the new A. Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. But with that, I'll let Mason and Jake lead the majority of this discussion since they're our draft experts. Gentlemen, what did you think of the draft?
You want to go first, Jake?
Oh, sure. I'll go first. I thought the draft was fine. I didn't love it, but ultimately they filled needs, and that's you enter a draft and you're looking to fill needs at certain value, and Green Bay did that. I mean, Eric Stokes has stuff to iron out. There's no doubt about it. But the speed, and it depends a lot on what the Packers are going to do in coverage when it comes to what Eric Stokes, how well he's going to play in his first season, how well he's going to accumulate, get up to speed, really. But again, he's feisty, he's fast, he's going to make plays on the ball. Once the ball's in his hands, you aren't catching him. He is going to score. So that's good news, obviously, for a team that needs to turn the ball over more. But I think Stokes will have a steep learning curve if they go into more zone concepts, off man coverages. So that's a little bit of the concern there. But again, Stokes, a lot of potential. Myers, solid. I thought he was not quite the fit that Green Bay wanted at center, and that's why the Drew Dahlman train was humming up to the draft. But I think Myers flashes enough quickness to get second level reach block. I just think he has to sustain blocks better, truthfully, and he has to be more consistent with that explosiveness out of his stance, with that explosiveness to the second level, controlling defenders. So if he can be more consistent, we're good to go. He's your starting center for a long time. Rodgers, he's fine. Slot gadget, it's good. It's not great for me, but I mean, again, it's a fit, so that's fine. Newman, I like quite a bit. I think he's played a lot of spots. Obviously Packers on day 3, what'd they do? They went after guys with tackle experience. Don't think Van Lannen's going to play tackle. Newman maybe plays tackle. We'll see. TJ Slayton, run defender. Shmarjean Charles, always around the ball. And truthfully, though, it's funny. I'm going to say this. Last year, my least favorite pick for the Packers was a running back in the second. Funny enough, my favorite pick the Packers made this year was a running back in the 7th round in Kylan Hill. Easily. That was the one I was jumping up and down the most. To get a guy like that who's a pass catcher, who's going to work his butt off in pass protection as well. He's tough. He'll make you miss. Oh, the running back room is loaded. So I guess that's some solace if, when we get to the second part, we'll talk about the running back room, I'm sure. But I think it's important if they're going in a certain direction, let's say.
You missed a player.
No, I didn't. Oh, yes. They drafted that dude. They drafted linebacker on day 3. Great. Love it. Bye.
Mason's guy.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Mason texted me freaking out.
Here's the thing. Mason. No, I know. Because when he got picked, I messaged Mason. It was like,
that was how I called out with Jake.
So also the thing is, I wanted Mason wanted me to bring him up, but I wanted Mason to take the floor with McDuffie because that's his guy. You see,
I mean, it could have been worse.
I covered everything else.
Could be worse. I mean, I like Duffy. Everyone says he's just gonna be a special teams contributor, but I think he could probably play a bit because of how just depleted our linebacker room is. Former safety, he's good in coverage. He has good instincts. He's kind of slow processing a little bit, but he plays balls to the walls every single play. I mean, he'll take risks. So, I mean, you have to have some speed and some coverage ability in the middle of the defense. So finally, I think we have that with Barnes and him. But I was kind of upset that the Texans took Waddle, but McDuffie was a good second choice. So.
Yeah.
What about the other picks? Did you want to talk about anyone else in particular, or you just Mason is the McDuffie fan club. I will say there is no doubt he will be leading the charge. He probably has a jersey already on the mail.
I want one. I couldn't find one.
Oh,
but
that's rough.
I mean, we'll
find a way.
It's because no one cares.
Fuck you.
Whoa.
I gave the draft a B. I don't know about you, Jake. But.
I gave it. Still working. I think it's going to be a B- or C+ for me, truthfully. I just don't like, listen, we got to be honest with the grades. We can't, we're not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. I thought they did fine. And fine to me is a C+ to B-, truthfully. I think it's fine.
When you and I were on and Chris were on our draft podcast on day 3, we were kind of like, we were not really the greatest with Royce Newman at that time.
Yeah, that seemed like a little bit of a reach.
We were kind of just like, oh,
okay.
Just like, oh, okay.
Like, all right.
But I mean,
listen, the last 2 picks saved it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, it saved day 3. But
I like Eric Stokes. I mean, obviously my Josh Myers pick on the live stream didn't really work out the greatest, but I mean, the rest of the draft made up for it. I do like Christian Uphoff as a undrafted free agent. So, I mean, we added a safety, which we didn't add in the draft. I want to make a note of something real quick.
That got at me because I just thought Joe Barry's coming in here and be like, we need a guy like JOK. We need a guy like Gillespie or Merrig. I guess Holland isn't as versatile, so I understand that. And he's really plugged into a nickel box, so I get it and not being interested there. But it just seemed like the class to maybe go after a guy rounds 2 to 5 and find somebody. So that was disappointing for sure.
So I do want to take another look at Jack. Is it Heflin, another undrafted free agent we had, the D tackle from Iowa? He is a transfer from Northern Illinois. My buddy JJ, who's at Northern Illinois right now, he said that he went up against him every single day and that he is just an animal. So, I mean,
he's
hopefully
a big dude.
The Packers do find UDFAs that contribute.
Yeah.
So I could totally see it.
I'm hoping JJ's right. So we need depth on the D.
That's as good a source as you're going to find. I mean, we can talk about, what we think of players, but when you talk to actual college players who have played against these guys, it's a different story. They'll give you a lot.
I mean, overall, I was fine with the draft. It could have been better. Could have been a lot worse. It could have been the Cowboys draft. So, I mean,
it's very true.
Yeah.
Here's what I like about Eric Stokes. Oh, don't even get me started on what they did. But what I like about Eric Stokes is he may have some of the same issues in coverage as Kevin King, but he's fast enough to make up for it. And I've watched no film.
I don't think it's the same issue.
It's not.
I think he's a little bit better in coverage than King. No.
Yeah, for him,
he's probably already better.
For Stokes, it's just like vertical back up the field transitions a lot of the time, and where he kind of gets off balance when he starts to lean on some of those transitions, and that's where he gets like out of place. I don't think it's the same as King. There are struggles. So I guess, I get it. Like Packers fans, when they think of struggles at corner, they think Kevin King, right? Like Jair will never make a mistake. We love him, right? But like, I get it. I get it with Stokes. If they're asking him to legitimately, and there are so many reps of this, if you're asking him, go sit up about a yard off the line, carry this dude vertically, he will never allow a reception. He won't do it. Like throughout the SEC last year, he did that. He was never targeted because there is no one in the entire league, sans maybe Tyreek Hill, but I don't know, that can beat him down the field. Once
the
he flips his
closing
hips.
speed is wow.
It's like no one's beating him down the field if they're just running goes on the perimeter. It's just not going to happen.
I mean, here's a plug for Jake, but the YouTube video that you posted of him yesterday was great. It shows all the off-balance issues that he had, especially against Florida, I think it was. And then, I mean, he was step for step with Anthony Schwartz, so that says it all. So,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Could you guys see Gene Charles being a potential replacement for Sullivan in the slot?
Yeah.
Sadly for Mason, yes.
Well, yeah.
I think it'll be interesting if they use Jair in the slot more.
Yeah,
this year, because they really didn't draft, a guy they would like to play in the slot a lot in the more 3 safety looks. I guess if you want I wanted them to get a more traditional deeper safety who maybe has some experience in the box as well, but can give Savage the opportunity to play a lot of nickel. Yeah. I don't think they're going to do that now because they really don't have a third guy. So it could be, I think it could be Jair. And like you said, I think Gene Charles has a real chance.
I mean,
to hop Sullivan.
Would Vernon Scott play that whole nickel box role? I mean, that's what they might have him as, because that's maybe why they didn't add a safety, was because they're so high on Vernon Scott. That's my guess anyway.
Yeah, that's fine, I guess.
Jake's just ambivalent about all of this. He's just like,
Listen, I wanted to love this draft because I thought day 2 was nice. I thought they did a good job. I really did. But like, I don't know. I just feel like every pick for me was like, ooh, this could be the guy. Oh, it's not him. Ooh, this could be the guy. It's not him. So I'm like, And I'm not saying I know more than the guys than Goody or anybody in that scouting. But it was just kind of like, for me, it was kind of like, oh, okay, it's fine. Like at every pick.
That was kind of why I felt about Myers.
Until 256. Then it got me out of my chair. All right. I will say. That got me out the chair.
Let's go. Woo!
Okay, the running theme seemed to be guys that can contribute right away and like plug and play and fill holes with obviously guys they lost.
Yeah.
Like Myers is realistically going to be starter at center for Lindsley. I think Amari Rodgers is going to get a lot of touches in LaFleur's offense is like that gadget slot guy. And then you can't really, I don't know if you can trust Kevin King with the injuries, where Eric Stokes will probably get significant playing time early on, I would imagine.
I would think so.
Would you rather have, if the last spot on the roster is coming down to Josh Jackson or Russell? Who's it coming down to?
Who?
Jackson or who?
Kivarie Russell. At the last corner spot.
Is there another option?
I wish I knew that, like, Joe Barry is a mastermind and he has this plan for Josh Jackson to do safety stuff with the 3 safety looks. I wish that was part of the plan because I think his instincts are good, but I just don't. From the beginning, the Josh Jackson pick with the scheme fit just did not make sense.
No,
it never made sense. Like, it's just like when I saw Josh Jackson play, I'm like, Seattle, done, stamp, go. Like, that was it. Like, that was the scheme. Like, even they obviously Atlanta would have made sense as well. And Richard went over to Dallas for a little while. Like, the tree from that made sense. But like, other than that, I don't know. The fit was weird. It was weird.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing as like a Josh Jones. Like, where do you play him? Where does he want to play? Yeah. That's also another question. Like, does he really care where he plays, or is he going to be like, I want to be a corner, I want to be a safety, like Jones was? So
yeah, I hope if he doesn't make the route, I hope he goes somewhere where he fits and he can make an impact, because
especially with the ball skills and all the interceptions in college.
The thing. Yeah, it's just he needs to be in his own scheme that really he can key in on the quarterback's eyes and close on the ball and make plays.
Even with Patton, it never really seemed to be the right fit.
Yeah, it just
So AJ, what did you think about Minnesota's 3rd round pick?
I think that was the biggest key, especially given the breaking news that happened on draft day that we missed out on. Because
so Amari Rodgers, let's draft another replacement.
No, Ahmad went what, 66?
66.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have been there.
He would not have been there.
You're taking him over Josh Myers at that point.
Yeah, 100%, especially given what happened right before. I mean, our whole future is in jeopardy And then we let the best quarterback in the draft off. We just leave him on the table, man.
No, there might be a team in our division.
And now
got the best quarterback
now he's
in the draft,
in the division, and we are fucked
but it's not
for
Kellen
the
Mond.
next 10 years.
So
Only 10 years.
what a Thursday it was.
What a Thursday
Yeah.
was.
The news comes out, and then
I'm giving Kirk Cousins another 1 to 2 years before.
And then
the Packers
Lions-
news comes out, and then Chicago gets Justin Fields.
And then the Lions and the Vikings get their left tackles for the next 12 fucking years.
Oh yeah, that was the best part. Minnesota just like, yeah, we'll move back 9 spots, still get Darisaw. Thanks. Like,
was
Minnesota
insane.
killed it.
Minnesota was always going to kill it.
Minnesota got Smith Marset too.
And they got Blake Pearl.
And then Cincinnati's dumb enough to let Sewell drop,
That was crazy.
And
which
then
I
get
saw it
Jackson
coming.
Like
Garbage.
Joe Burrow is
See,
literally
that's
almost
the
got
thing.
broken in half, and you're not going to do
Here's the
anything in
thing.
that first round to protect him.
Listen,
That was them appeasing Joe Burrow.
listen. I'm fine with the Chase pick. I'm
Yeah.
fine with it. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't bother me to
Did they
death. Now, if
draft
a guy
a lot of O-line after?
They drafted 2.
they drafted 2, one I like, one was a definite reach, and just where the Bengals were at, they were in a perfect spot to be like,
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna start this tackle run. Not we're gonna absorb the tackle
I
run and
know.
take a guy who
Then
was
they
2
traded
rounds
down.
too early. Like the Bengals had it perfect. They nailed it. They went, we got Chase. They could have Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah. They got to have
Cosme.
Chase and Tevin
Do you
Jenkins.
like Cosme? I can't believe Cosme fell to where he did. Like that athlete doesn't go that late in the draft at tackle. That was weird. Like there has to be something there for a guy like that. And they could have done Chase Cosme, but Cincinnati was like, yeah, we got to have Jackson Carter, who might be a guard. So, I
I
digress.
mean, and then you look at
We're getting
teams
off
like,
topic, but
if we want to stay in the AFC North, then Cleveland killed it. So,
Oh
Cleveland
my
did kill it.
god!
Cleveland just lets JOK fall in their laps in the second round.
and then Togi in the 4th.
Yeah, Togia in the 4th was nice. And
Yeah,
they got Tony
Dalton Banks
Fields.
6th.
Like they just
I thought the Ravens had a nice draft too.
they did too. The Bateman Wallace combo.
Bateman, yeah.
Raymond Wallace and Ardarius Washington as a
Yeah, they got
undrafted free agent, I
Ardarius
guess.
as UDFA. So that was that was
Makes me-
rough. All right. So who
makes
was everyone's favorite Packers pick? Go. You already know mine. It was Hill. So
Yeah, you already know mine. So
yeah. So everybody else, what was your
Hill and
favorite
McDuffie.
Packers selection? MJ, yours is
I'm gonna go Amari Rodgers just for the
Man,
meme.
that was mine.
that's fine. AJ, go for it. Talk about it.
Mine was Amari Rodgers as well. I just think in the third, I think he could have a very high ceiling. It just kind of depends on the role he fits in there. And
Well,
but
the
I think he's,
comparisons to Randall Cobb.
that the first thought that popped in my head when we drafted him was like a Randall Cobb, and how Rodgers loves a guy like Cobb in the offense, and I think he just seems like a guy day one, week one, who we can insert there and be effective and be a playmaker. I like the Gene Charles pick too, also as well.
I was gonna say, do we know if Jordan Loves likes a Randall Cobb? In the
Oh,
offense?
Yeah,
That's what I was asking.
which is very important at this
That's
very
what I was
moment.
wondering. Yeah,
You got
does he
Jordan
like
Love,
that?
his future running back, his future number 1 wide receiver. I mean, you got
Future
him.
fullback last year. Excellent.
Yeah, you got the guy who's going to be handing him off the ball at center for the next 15 years. I mean, you're set,
Chris, who's your favorite?
Chris.
Sorry. It's
Uh,
just, everybody thought the same thing when he goes, Aaron Rodgers likes the Randall Cobb type. Everybody's sitting
Jake
here like,
started smiling. So I was like, oh no,
but
here we
does
go.
Jordan Love like it? Yeah, right. Exactly.
I really liked getting Kylan Hill that late. I think obviously he's going to come in and contribute, and you got to keep Aaron Jones healthy, and with AJ Dillon there, and with me yelling at Shannon Sullivan all year in the slot, I like Shamar Jean Charles a lot.
Hold on, MJ, did you see what I posted in our chat a few days ago?
So everybody
Maybe.
said a round 3 pick, round 5, and round 7. Those were the favorites. Glad everybody liked what they did in the first 2 rounds.
Well, okay.
Um,
To be clear, I love Stokes because
yeah,
I
No,
didn't
I
want
get it,
Kevin
I
King
get it.
coming
I
anywhere
I
near
don't
the Green Bay
mind.
Packers.
I don't mind.
Yeah, I
Stokes
know.
at all.
don't mind
I just
Stokes
thought it
either.
was interesting because everyone's favorite pick was, truthfully.
Well, but the Packers have missed on so many first round corners that at this point I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you
Like-
got Jair.
You don't trust
But
Goody?
And cool. Stokes is
technically-
super
technically-
fast. But
Okay, Jake, don't
Technically- Technically, Thompson picked King, so I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah,
Okay,
I get it. The first round
So
corner
Goody
thing.
picked
Technically-
Jair and then
and
Darnell.
Josh Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
he
he's
picked-
done in the first round. Yeah, he's done Jair and Savage now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So-
first
Rashawn
round, I'll
Gary.
give Goody
So I'm
the
just
benefit
saying.
of the doubt.
All right.
But as a Packers fan, it's
I'm sure
still
we're not going
hard
to
to
give him
look
the
at that
benefit
first
of the
round
doubt
corner.
later, but yeah, I get it. I get what
No,
you're saying.
I will. I
I
will.
get
Actually.
what you're saying. So
I want to talk about this for a second. I know I messaged Jake about it, but Chris saw it. MJ, did you see my post about like my thoughts about the draft after?
I don't
was it
remember.
the,
It's been like
yeah.
a
It was,
week.
yeah. So I had said something about the
oh
running back,
yeah.
the best in the league, and said that I love like the duo of AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, and then that Patrick Taylor and Kylan Hill contribute right away. And I said that Dexter Williams and Mike Weber might be the odd ones out, and then Mike Weber like
Mike Weaver comment liked it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
liked
liked
the
the
post.
tweet.
I was like, oh shit.
You should have done what
Wait,
you did
who
with
am I-
Dexter Williams and misspelled it because
Yeah,
then he wouldn't have
yeah.
found the tweet.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I'm
hoping
gonna
with,
text Dex. I'm
But,
gonna
like,
message
listen,
Dexter and be like, my friend
I'm-
Mason misspelled your
I'm
name.
not like I get it. Mike Weber's using that as motivation. I get it. But like,
bulletin board material.
listen,
I liked him as a player
Listen.
coming out, but the running
Kylan
back,
Hill is
back,
your third
yeah.
down running back
Yeah.
already. Hasn't even gotten on the field yet for rookie minicamp. I don't care. He is Jamal Williams. He's in that role now, period. So after
Mason, he
Dylan,
didn't-
Jones, and him, yeah, it's a dogfight. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we'll see. But like,
I have
truthfully,
this-
this fourth running back is, oh, if you're injured, this is you. You're filling in, like you're the fourth running back, like good, but like it'll be a dogfight. I like that. I think you're right, Mason. I think Patrick Taylor's the favorite, truthfully.
Yeah. MJ, I think he might have removed the like, but I have a screenshot.
Oh.
So
He does have the screenshot. He sent me it.
Mason.
Oh,
has
So he
this.
liked it on accident, like it was in his
I think he
phone
might
was
have
in his
I think
pocket.
he might have
and-
blocked me or something now. So
There you go.
Could be.
Well,
I don't know. But
Whatever.
here's a question
already-
I asked.
I didn't
He's
even
blocking
know
out
who
the
that is.
haters, obviously.
yeah.
I asked Chris this: if Bakhtiari is not healthy week 1, what is the starting offensive line?
I said Jenkins at left tackle, I think.
Have to.
Yeah.
And then Runyon, Myers,
Mannion,
Manny
Myers,
Patrick, and
Patrick.
Turner.
Patrick Turner would be my guess.
Yeah, unless Newman they has a fantastic
Yeah.
camp and they're like, all right, this dude can play guard right away. Like we're good there, but like, yeah, I don't
Well,
think.
who would you play at right tackle if they want to move Turner to left week 1?
Probably Jenkins.
No.
I just think you have to have him out there if Bakhtiari doesn't. It's like I just don't know if I want. Like, I get it. Newman's played solid at tackle, and Runyon has experience there as well. But like, I don't know.
I wish they could keep Jenkins at guard because he's obviously one of the best guards in football, but you got to secure up the tackle spots for sure.
Yep. And what and the problem is, yeah, that's what hurts is because if you have to move Jenkins out, then, you know, when you're looking at how the Packers are going to operate that run game where they have that, you know, that initial like combo to help, and then the center gets up to the second level, having a guy like Jenkins in the interior to help Myers out and help him get to the second level is huge.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, at that point, you have to have Jenkins out of tackle because pass protection, the unit is fine. Like they are fine. There will be no problems with what we talked about in pass protection because Myers is good.
Myers is good, yeah.
Yep. So like I'm not really worried about it in pass protection, but the
Yeah,
running
I'm
game
not-
may suffer a little bit early on
Yeah.
if that's what they run with. And that's-
Especially when you subtract all that Corey Linsley brought from the center spot in the running game, for sure.
yeah.
And especially when you possibly subtract Aaron Rodgers.
Is that your lead in?
See what I did there? Yeah.
Is that your lead in?
I feel like there was not much else to talk about
No.
the draft.
Okay.
Yeah. even though
Yeah,
it was-
that was my lead in.
All right, I'll take it easy, guys.
No, but even in that run game that you're talking about, you're still putting 2 rookies out there
Yeah.
week 1. That's tough.
I
I
know.
mean, so
It isn't
regardless,
easy.
Are you talking
regardless-
rookie is
One,
like
but
never
yeah.
started?
It's a rookie center, so that's
Yeah.
it's. But I will say the fact that I'm going to trust LaFleur on this one, truthfully, because I
Really?
truly think that he he saw Lindsley, how he played. He's like, we have to have somebody like that.
Yeah.
He has to be good in all levels of it. I think maybe they had the conversation about Dahlman later, potentially on day 3, where we're like,
Early.
listen,
He went before our first pick.
he did. So they had that conversation, but then I think LaFleur had to convince him, like, listen, we think we can unlock this quickness in him that we've seen the flashes of, and he can be a long-term starter for us. So that's, I mean, I'm going to trust LaFleur on that, because I think he pounded the table and he was in Goody's ear.
And he's smart enough to game plan around. Like, I got 2 rookies out here week 1. What can I do to protect them and make the offense work?
Big dog out there every snap.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to just put Big Dog at tackle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tonyan at tackle. Love it.
I want Lewis. And if you have, I don't know why he
put
said
Mercedes Lewis at tackle. Yeah.
Why
That's
did you
Big
say
Dog.
That's Big Dog.
Why did you
Big
say
Dog's Tonyan?
No, it's not.
No.
No,
that's
Dog is
Mercedes Lewis.
Big Dog's Tonyan.
No, it's not.
It's Lewis.
No, it's not.
Oh, Big Dog's Tonyan.
It's never been Tonyan.
You sure?
Keep that in, MJ. Keep that
I'm
in.
positive.
We are positive. Jake's dying.
It's never been.
That's so
Tonyan.
funny. Like, we just, like, he said it, Tonyan, and everybody was kind of like,
Jake,
What?
I saw Jake like blink 4 times in a row. He's like, what did he just say?
it's like, wait, you want Big Dog
Are you
and Tonyan?
sure? Because I'm pretty sure I heard Rodgers
No.
refer to him as Big Dog.
No.
No, like,
No.
like I no, I understand. Okay, here. I'm gonna send this. I'm just here. Okay.
Who you're sending
Here,
to?
you can
Here's-
you can share your screen if you want.
Oh, you want me to? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, go
All right,
for it.
Here. Okay, yeah, I'll share my screen. Sure. All right. Here.
We have those advanced technological capabilities.
Yeah. Of course.
Although I know
All right.
AJ's not a big tech guy. But it's
Okay, so here's Rodgers yelling Big Dog and screaming Lewis's nickname to audible yesterday before a TD catch at night.
Yeah, so we're gonna
This
just
is him.
take Matt Schneiderman's word as gospel.
Okay, here we go.
We're literally
over at Big Dog,
PFF.
Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah,
37 Mercedes Lewis. You'll see from the Big Dog, PFF.
Yeah.
What else do we need to go?
Wes.
I've never seen Aaron Rodgers tweet this, so I'm good.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we
Aaron
also want
Rodgers
Aaron
literally
Rodgers to
yelled
tweet right
Big
now.
Dog,
Right
Big
there,
Dog
right
before
there.
tossing.
Okay, yeah,
touchdown.
okay, all
There
right,
we go.
all right.
All right, Aaron Rodgers. Perfect.
Well, you missed the one. You missed the one that confirmed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
here we go. Right here. Aaron talking about Big Dog. There you go.
Damn,
Yeah.
AJ.
Good.
Wow, I watched Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show for 17 weeks, and every time he referred to Big Dog, I thought he was talking about Tonyan. My whole life has changed.
AJ's had an epiphany today. And that's,
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, that was
Big
life
day.
has
It's a big day
changed.
for me.
Oh,
it is. It's a big day. All right. We had fun. That was a good time. All right. So, yeah,
Okay.
Big Dog at tackle.
But it's not like
Before
it
we-
matters because the Big Dog nickname is no longer relevant because Aaron Rodgers isn't coming back.
Okay, well,
We'll
you're
see.
getting ahead of
Well,
yourself
that gets
because
us
you
into
go
it.
third, AJ. So Mason,
Almost had a sweet tea. This is a problem.
We're
We
gonna-
haven't even
we're-
gotten
Mason-
into this part
Yeah.
we're gonna let Mason go first.
That shit show.
You can speak as long as you'd like.
That's what we start with that. Okay.
I'm just gonna put on the record we're starting the Aaron Rodgers talk at 5:54 Central Time.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, boy.
good.
3 hours later.
Oh boy.
Let's. I'll see you boys at 8:54.
Yeah.
Let's go,
Jesus.
Mason. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the floor.
So I think MJ and Chris have kind of gotten my whole spiel because MJ and I,
I
kind of
haven't
been,
read the chat.
well, I mean, we've been on the same page we were on the same page with not restructuring him and everything. I stand pretty much at the same thing I did as a month or 2 ago or whatever it was. I think we call his bluff, obviously. We're gonna have to. Reports are that we have offered him a contract extension, making him the highest paid quarterback, $45 million per year. Whether that's true or not, I don't care. If it's true, then he didn't take it. For me, it's always been this 2021 is his last year, and then you can make the transition to Love. That's kind of how I feel about it. If these whole Kumaro rumors are true or whatever, everything with the whole entire former Bulls GM, him telling teammates he wants out, isn't coming back, says he wants Goody fired, all that. I don't really, I mean, either way, this was his last year for me. That's how I always felt. I think Chris and I kind of got into it earlier today. in our little chat. I'm a big Jordan Love guy. I was during the draft process. I had him as QB2. Like, I still wasn't happy with the pick. So there's that. But I think after this year, it's time to turn the page. Either, I mean, the earliest we can trade him is June 1st. So I don't think anything's going to happen before then. For me, you have to get some sort of massive capital in return, probably more than what the Lions got from Matt Stafford. So, I mean, it's kind of, it's kind of been the same thing as where I stand. It's that everything that comes out is just like if it's all true, then it kind of makes him look bad. For me, I've been a big whole like team building process, build with a rookie contract, all that nonsense, build up a team around the quarterback. I get that from my dad a little bit because he's been the same way. Build up the offensive line, defensive line, which we haven't built up the defensive line. Build up the front seven, all that nonsense. I mean, I think Love. I mean, if you really want to talk about like the whole entire Shanahan system and all that, this Shanahan style system that LaFleur runs is quarterback friendly. So it's this whole notion that Love isn't going to be anything in year one and that the Packers are just going to be hot garbage is kind of false for me. I think we can still get to a 10-win team. If that's this year, I don't know. I don't know if we're trading Rodgers. I don't know what's going on. I don't think anyone in the organization knows what's going on right now. So that's just where I stand. I think this was either his last year anyways or ship him off. I also mentioned a few weeks ago on one of the Cheeseheads podcasts if this was going to be an issue if Rodgers' contract wasn't restructured. And Chris and MJ both shot me with a no right away. And so here we are.
Okay. I'll go next. So
I love that we have this like talking stick and it just feels like that of like, can we pretend to pass this talking stick?
No.
Mason, can you pretend to pass it? There.
Got it.
Okay. On my screen, that didn't look clean.
Didn't look at all.
It's all on the
It looks clean on the YouTube. So we're
okay. Good. Perfect. Fine.
AJ,
good.
when I pass it to you, you're gonna have to go to the top left of your screen. Just to let you know. Anyway,
I'm not gonna take it.
So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with a couple concessions just to make Chris and others happy. Number one, if everything was normal, rainbows and sunshine, leprechauns and unicorns, of course, I want Aaron Rodgers, the MVP of the league, Mr. 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, most talented quarterback of all time, to be the leader of my franchise until he retires or is no longer capable of leading the franchise to success. No shit, Sherlock Holmes. That's obvious. Any Packers
Who's
fan
Watson?
who says otherwise,
Did you just make a statement and then say no shit, Sherlock?
Yes.
Like to yourself?
Yes, I did.
All right, good start.
Thank you. So obviously, I want Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback of my team. Everybody's been making comparisons in the last week to the Brett Favre situation. Obviously, there's some similarities. There are some differences. The major similarity being there is trouble in paradise with our star quarterback, and we are at a fairly important turning point in what this organization is going to do. We can throw everything into Aaron Rodgers, give him the house, give him everything he wants, whether that be firing Goody, whether that be trading Jordan Love, whether that be making him the GM and letting him host Jeopardy in Lambeau Field itself. Whatever that man wants, that's what we give him. That's one of the scenarios.
Nice.
The other scenario would be we call his bluff. We say you either play for the team or you can retire. We're not going to trade you. You're under contract. You're going to stay here. And then scenario number 3, Packers and Aaron Rodgers come to a decision where they can work out a deal to send him somewhere else. So that's kind of the 3 scenarios we've been looking at. To clarify a couple things, I know a couple people in Green Bay, nothing crazy, right? I know really the best information I got on draft night was the only team that the Packers actually looked at the financials of what would happen if they sent Aaron Rodgers there was Denver. And that matches up with everything we've been hearing. That matches up with Denver being the only phone call that Goody actually answered. He never talked to John Lynch. He never talked to anybody else. Denver was the only organization that Goody actually spoke to. So, if I had to make a prediction, if the Packers do end up trading Rodgers, I don't think it's a firewall. I don't think it's fake. I think Denver would be the place. Well, what would I do? To be honest, similar to Mason, I call his bluff. And the reason being, we've gone through this before and we came out all right. Obviously, Green Bay Packers would not be the same team in 2021 with Jordan Love as the quarterback compared to Aaron Rodgers. Again, no shit, Sherlock. That's just basic statistics, right? But would I be willing to risk a couple years of not immediate Super Bowl contention? I hate you, Jake. Would I be willing to risk a couple years of not being in guaranteed Super Bowl contention to get me another 10 years of being in guaranteed Super Bowl contention? Yes, I would. That's what the Packers did with Rodgers. They were not good the first couple years he played. They were absolutely average. And then in his third year as a starter, they went out, they won a Super Bowl. So with that being said, if Aaron Rodgers wants to be a baby, I mean, they had the best offense in the league last year. And I don't know why he's upset. Until we hear from Aaron Rodgers, nobody knows exactly why he's upset. Okay? We have reports of him calling Goody Jerry Krause, which, by the way, side note, if we could get just one more year and give me an Aaron Rodgers last dance in Green Bay, that would make me very happy.
Great theater.
Took what I was going to say.
I'm sorry. You can expand more on it. I'll leave it there. But, if I have to make the choice, if you put a gun to my head and say, right now, choose what you would do, I would ship Aaron Rodgers to Denver. And I would get the assets and I would make the move right now because he is supposed to be the leader of this team and he's not leading the team. Now you can also go into, okay, if he's telling people he's going to leave, why does D-Bach resign? Why does Kenny Clark resign? Why do all of these guys resign? I don't know. Again, until we hear from Aaron Rodgers himself, it's really hard to decipher what's going on. All I know is that Denver is the only place Green Bay has thought about the idea of possibly considering hypothetically moving him. So until we have a point where Aaron Rodgers is supposed to report, which is mid-June, I believe, like June 14th.
June 8th.
June 8th. Okay. Until that date, I don't trust anything that is said, really, because it's all reports. I mean, you can have AJ Hawk, James Jones, Brett Favre saying they've talked to him, right?
Mike Holmgren, yes.
Mike Holmgren today, which you've been gone for a very long time for a good reason, Mike. Why are you talking?
He wasn't even there the first time.
No.
Exactly. So until June 8th, when Aaron Rodgers is supposed to show up at Lambeau Field or wherever he's supposed to show up, I don't trust anything unless it comes from his mouth himself. Now, obviously, this is very troubling. But again, if I had to make a decision right now, knowing very limited information we have and the drama that it has already caused 1 week after the draft alone, I'd ship him to Denver and make the transition now. AJ, there you go.
This whole thing, I think, has been blown way out of fucking proportion. Like, it's not even, I don't think this is near as concerning as we think it is. And the fact that you think that you would sacrifice 3 years of Jordan Love, to potentially be good for 10 years. We don't know Jordan Love's going to be good. Jordan Love wasn't the best. Jordan Love wasn't even the best quarterback in the draft. Aaron Rodgers was considered a contender for the first overall pick in that draft. Jordan Love was never there. Jordan Love.
Brett Favre wasn't considered for the first pick in the draft, so that argument is
Hey,
you guys interrupted me too.
Whoa.
First off, is because you said something to yourself.
But we didn't draft Brett Favre either. We didn't draft Brett Favre either.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Okay, so your point is null and void.
Shut your mouth now,
Thank you.
MJ. Goddamn.
And not to mention, I mean, if you like, so Schefter broke his story. This whole thing, like, has just made me rethink everything he's ever said, ever. Because when you listen to him talk on the Dan Patrick Show, and him nervously drinking his coffee mug, like he doesn't know what the fuck is going on, that dude, seriously, as much as we've considered his word gospel over the last few years, that made me rethink a lot of shit. Because that dude seemed like he was full of shit. to say that his tweet was league and team sources confirmed, and yet then he goes on the show and says, no, this is just rumors I've heard and I don't really have any whatever. Like, fuck you, Adam Schefter, for just blowing this out of proportion, and now we have to deal with this for the next fucking 6 months. Are you shitting me?
Talk about it, brother. Talk about it.
I mean, what with a guy with that platform and him being so irresponsible as to break the story on draft night and just happens to say that, oh, it just happened to be I broke it on draft day. It was going to come out eventually, but I just happened to do it on the biggest night of the offseason. Like, fuck you. That was a bunch of bullshit. He did that for clicks and likes and his notoriety. And now it comes out that he is just full of shit and he can't actually confirm any of these. Oh, I've heard teammates say this. What teammate has actually come forward and said that they've heard him talk about this? What free agent has said anything about the fact that Aaron Rodgers said, well, he's not coming, so I wasn't going to go there. Will Fuller, I'm not going to go there because I know Aaron Rodgers is going to be there. What a load of crock of shit. I think Aaron Rodgers is a little disgruntled with the front office because he has no guaranteed money left on his contract for the next 2 years. So I do think he would like a restructuring, especially after a 48-5 MVP season. I think he would like to see a little bit more money in the bank because I think he deserves it. But I don't. And the Jeopardy thing, let's be real. Like, he's going to give up football to go host Jeopardy. Maybe in 5 years. I don't know. Like, maybe he does that after he's done with football. But I don't think in the prime of his career after an MVP season, he's going to retire and go host Jeopardy. Let's be real. So I think this has been all blown out of proportion. All signs point to Adam Schefter of just being a complete douchebag at this point in time. And I think I think this whole thing has gotten way out of hand. The only thing Aaron Rodgers has commented about, as he's wearing a Turd Ferguson name tag at Churchill Downs, he says, I'm disappointed this story got out because it seems like, well, at this point, I think he needs to process of what is all going on between everything that's been said, where it's like, I've seen reports of it's Gutenhurst or I'm gone, or I'm not coming back unless he's fired. I don't think that's the case.
No,
I don't think he likes Gutenhurst. He's probably not a huge fan. He just drafted his replacement last year, but at the same time, to think it for 1 second next year we're going to go forward with Jordan Love, I think you're outside of your fucking mind.
Who's next, MJ?
Chris?
I'm going to tell you, hold on, before Chris goes, I'm going to watch this back so many times. So many times.
Of that little, like,
this is
Adam
amazing.
Schefter, right?
And I don't want to go yet. I'll talk, but I can't wait to watch this again.
I need a cut up of AJ's
There's so much to
brand.
unpack here.
The AJ Ryder's Aaron Rodgers trouble supercut, and you just is its own video. Anyway,
Crack of shit.
go ahead. Or AJ roasts Adam Schefter. End title. There you go.
And
Sorry,
that would
Chris.
AJ could get into his mentions too, because AJ's verified.
Yep.
True.
Chris, go
Good,
ahead,
I
man.
hope
I'm
it.
sorry. I
Fuck
did
him.
not mean to interrupt the transition, but man, that was unreal. It was a privilege to sit through that. Okay.
Alrighty. First of all, AJ, I echo every single thing you just said. I've always been in the opinion you don't trade Aaron Rodgers. I think you do everything in your power to reconcile this situation, work it out, whether it's a new deal or more personnel decisions. But I think this is slowly been boiling over. There's been cracks in the road for as long as he's been in Green Bay. I think he's seen a lot of his friends and buddies walk out the door, like Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Jared Cook. And he's long expressed the sentiment that I want to be in Green Bay till I'm 40. And we saw those 2 seasons in 18 and 19 where he kind of had down years by Aaron Rodgers standards. And the Packers took Jordan Love in the first round and put a timeline on his tenure in Green Bay. And he's always been a guy that likes to control the situation, control the narrative. I think he wants to be in Green Bay for the rest of his career. Going back to what MJ said, I think if there was a time to trade him, it would have been on draft night. Because let's say they do flip him to Denver. Like, if we get a couple first-round picks back, where are they going to be realistically? 29, 30, and maybe 32. So I think they're going to do everything in their power to work out this situation. I fully expect him to be under center for Green Bay in 2021. That's all from me.
I want to comment on a couple things there. When you talk about the Kumerow, Jordy Nelson, them leaving and stuff, I mean, that's the nature of the business. Like, that's going to happen.
I know.
Like, so he's fully aware of that fact. Like, I think he knows that. It's disappointing, yes, but you move on. I mean, that happens. It's going to happen in every team and any situation you're in. And then the down years he had, I mean, you go back 3-4 years. What was it in week 1 when he got hurt against the Bears? Played through an injury. Like, he's been hurt this entire time. I fully feel like those are the reason for those down years, is he's kind of been battling through all this little, nagging injuries for those periods of time. And then also, I forgot about this. I do want to go back to MJ's point where he talks about it took us 3 years. Aaron Rodgers went 11-5, and we had a massive shootout with Arizona in the playoffs. His second year. You think Jordan Love's going to get us to that point in 2 years?
Yes.
Fuck you.
Can I just say, I think he looks around the league at what Tampa Bay's done for Tom Brady, what the Chiefs have done for Patrick Mahomes. Like, all these two star quarterbacks have a lot of say in players on the team. And Tom Brady just won a Super Bowl, and Tampa Bay brought in all his buddies, Gronk, EB, and Rodgers. Green Bay always operates with front office manages, coaches coach, players play, right?
MJ, I think you know what I'm going to say here.
Yep, go for it.
But what did Brady and Mahomes do? They took pay cuts. Yeah, restructuring Rodgers is a bit that takes
Mahomes did?
Mahomes did?
Mahomes took a massive restructure, yeah.
He's still getting
getting a lot.
Half a million over money. Or $500 million over 10 years.
But Mason's point is Rodgers did not want to restructure.
I understand. That's fine.
I want to say something.
That's his. Yeah.
I want to say something after Jake gets done.
No, go ahead.
I want to say it after you're done because
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because mine's not going to be what you think it is. I don't think so. Go ahead.
We mentioned it in our draft podcast on day 3 when it was all coming out, all this nonsense about everything. You and I talked about it. Chris also was there. I think you and I felt the same thing. Because Goody's first draft was great. When LaFleur came in, that's when things kind of seemed like they got a little bit out of whack.
Yeah.
I know a lot of this gets thrown onto Goody, but is some of it saying like, oh, LaFleur was like, oh, he's not playing well in my system. Let's get his replacement in.
LaFleur was his guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that's unrealistic.
This whole entire spiel of LaFleur not knowing about the Love thing is complete bullshit.
I think that's
Yep. Yes, I would agree.
So
I would agree.
My biggest thing is why are Goody and Rodgers putting heads at LaFleur and Rodgers on? Because that's when it seemed like, oh, LaFleur got his Ryan Tannehill, whatever the fuck. He got his Derrick Henry. He got his Kyle Juszczyk. That's what I'm thinking. It was LaFleur, not Goody.
And that would make sense because there's also the part where Rodgers was not involved in the decision to hire LaFleur. He was just informed this is who we're hiring, and you better be coachable.
Yeah. That is my biggest thing right now.
Which that goes back to is the fact that neither of these two have actually included Aaron in the fact that like this is the direction this franchise is going. And I think that's kind of his biggest deal is the fact that look, this is your star player. This is the guy. This is the reason you've been successful for the last 12 years.
There's a middle ground between giving him like player GM power.
I don't think he needs
not telling him anything.
I'm not even going to have to go now.
I just think he needs communication.
I'm not even going to have to go. This is great.
Okay, let Jake go.
Everybody gets to bring up. No, I like this. Bring it up. Mine will be shorter and shorter. Keep going, please.
We want to give you as much time as we can. So
I also want to say that I think each of us knows that either he's playing in Green Bay or elsewhere. That's it. He's not retiring. He's either playing in Green Bay or he's getting traded.
Yeah, no way.
That's it.
He won't retire.
He's not going to retire. I don't care. He either plays in Green Bay here or, I think this is his last year in Green Bay.
Well, 100%. And also, too, I thought Colin Cowherd made a great point today.
Yes, he
on
did.
his show.
What?
The first
Where-
time.
Wait,
Making a
really?
good point?
Yes, yes,
Wait,
yes.
he made
made
a
a
great
good point.
point. Oh my God.
He made
Hold
the
on.
best
Date-
point ever.
I
He
need
made-
I need the time. What time did this happen?
I
need
don't
it.
know. I don't know the time
6:16.
specifically.
6:15.
Yes.
Friday,
Is
May
the-
7th.
Is the fact
Thank you.
that okay? So
Thank you.
if you're going to get traded to, let's say, Denver is going to give you have to give you a lot in order to get him out of there, correct? Because this is going to be a
Yes.
massive cap hit for us.
3 first.
And this is the MVP of the league last year.
Yep.
And not to mention, if you're going to go to Denver, you have a better chance of getting to a Super Bowl now in Green Bay than you do Denver tomorrow.
Oh, for sure.
And if you're getting traded, you need to be on the team of the winner of that trade, and it will not be Denver because you're going to have to give up a lot. I don't think look at.
But does Rodgers care about that?
At this
I don't
point in
know.
your
Could, yeah.
career, with one Super Bowl under your belt and this many MVPs, if you're not going to
If
a
we're
winner, what the
operating
fuck are
under
you
the
doing?
assumption, if we're operating under the assumption that he hates Goody that much and possibly resents LaFleur,
We're not
for
we're
wanting his
not
replacement.
operating under that assumption because again, I just told you it's mostly
I-
bullshit.
I think it's bullshit.
I mean, no, I agree, but like, I don't know. I don't. From everything I've seen from Rodgers, I don't see him as a guy who will sacrifice everything to only go win a Super Bowl.
Here's this. What is the trade offer from Denver as the baseline?
3
It's-
firsts,
it's
Drew
three
Lock, and
firsts.
another star player.
Drew Lock,
3
Jerry
first
Jeudy.
and Jerry Judy?
I think
Or
it's here's
Chubb.
what I think it's 3 firsts, a third, Judy and
Fans.
Sertan.
And then are you doing a
potentially.
swap of Surtain and Stokes or no?
I would think so. Yes,
Okay.
Probably.
that's my guess. However, that's the thing though. You have to have Fangio sign off on Stokes coming to Denver.
Mm.
Is that a Fangio corner?
No.
I don't know.
Oh. Well, you can play
Probably
both
not.
schemes. So I mean, maybe, but it's
Maybe, but
Surtain. Yeah,
we
Surtain
don't
fits
know
both.
that. That we don't. We're not confident in, right? So like you would assume a Sertan Stokes swap, but we don't. I'm sure that Pat and Elway are going to be like, listen, okay, do you want like Fangio? Do you want Stokes in this trade? Is this the guy you would like? And then Fangio goes, no, I want Alexander actually, because we draft they're getting Sertan, but no, I don't.
But
But
It's-
even Aaron goes to
it's
Denver.
hard.
Say they give up whatever they have to. Say they give up those pieces. Say you give up Judy, give up Stan, and then he goes to Denver. Look at the fucking division you're playing.
Yeah.
You think
I still think
playoffs
there's a-
are even a realistic? I mean, well,
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
With Rodgers,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Ah,
But
Absolutely.
not a question.
Those weapons are still good, even if Judy's
those
out
weapons
there.
are still good if Judy's gone because
They have-
still
they
have,
and I
they
think
have-
that defense
they
is
have-
suspect, and I think you're playing way too
No.
tough at the
The
division.
secondary is
No.
good. Secondary is good.
that
man.
secondary is
Without
good.
Secondary is
Sertain,
good.
then too.
Yes.
Yes, they didn't.
Yeah,
Nobody
it's
thought they were
already good.
drafting Sertan because they were loaded. Everybody
Yes.
was shocked that it wasn't Fields because they were loaded on defense in the secondary.
I don't think he's
They brought Kyle Fuller
getting
over.
out of the AFC as opposed to what he in Denver as he does to getting out of the NFC.
I mean,
This may
he either
be-
has
this-
to go through
this is the thing.
Mahomes or Brady.
This is the thing. They are making the playoffs. Will they win the division? I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, that is the top wild card if they don't win the division. It's
They're
not
definitely
even
a
close.
playoff team,
But you
yeah.
but you stay
It's
in the
not even
NFC
close.
North. Why would you rather? Why would you not stay in the NFC North? Where you got a rookie quarterback, you
AJ,
got Jared
you're-
Well,
Goff
it's because he wants
in
to.
the Vikings. Come on.
You're assuming that Aaron Rodgers is thinking logically here.
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
I think he thinks a lot more logically than any of us.
it's not stupid.
Hell of a lot
Well,
smarter
yeah,
than any
he's-
of us. Let's be real.
Well, yeah, he's an NFL quarterback. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very intelligent. I said that earlier. He's intelligent enough to probably be the GM of a team if he wanted
Yeah.
to.
Denver's
So,
definitely
yeah.
a playoff team.
Denver's
Easily.
a playoff team.
Easily.
Or here's a thing.
Well,
That team-
With Rodgers,
everybody's
without-
talking about how they're like the playoff teams in the AFC, oh, but like, is there room? Yes. Indy's not that good.
No, there's room at the bottom. Yeah.
Tennessee's
The
not.
Steelers
that
are
good.
not that
The
good.
Steelers are. I don't think the Steelers make the playoffs.
No,
honestly,
neither do I.
if Denver,
No.
if Rodgers
No.
goes to
No.
Denver,
Yeah,
that's the
Steelers
playoff
are
spot the Steelers are losing for sure.
So you're
Are they
like-
better than Cleveland
With Rodgers
I-
there, yes.
with Rodgers there? That's
Yeah.
an equalizer
That's-
right there.
yes.
Ultimate.
That's
Like they can
close.
beat them. So who
For
are
me,
you
you're
worried
going-
about?
Yeah, like
Kansas City, right? Is that it? Buffalo, maybe.
The Chargers
Maybe-
are going to be
maybe-
better, I think.
The Chargers will be better.
Chargers are getting
but
better,
yeah.
but they're not good as good as
I don't
Denver
think they'll
right
be
now.
there yet. And like
They still need help defensively.
that's potentially the second best team in the AFC.
Yes. So I mean, at AFC, you're looking at
Easily.
what? Buffalo, Cleveland.
AJ,
maybe
no, you
Indianapolis.
have to convince me, because I don't think you can even possibly try to convince me that's not a good football team.
I think
Like, you have to
he
try.
obviously
It's-
elevates them and he makes them a playoff contender, but I don't think it's a guarantee. Where I think Green Bay, where you look at the division and what we're going to go against, I think 10 wins is easy.
I get that, but the thing, I'm not comparing the two situations. The situation in Green Bay is better from an
I
offensive
think
scheme
the
perspective.
competition and
But
the
the problem
opportunity for
is-
him to get there is a lot more.
I get it, but I think the fandom is showing a little bit when you're talking here, because Denver's a good team.
Denver is a very good team.
Denver's a good team. They have completely resurrected the career of Garrett Bowles, who was going nowhere at left tackle. He is now a stud, and everybody called him a bust 2 years ago. Munchak came in, fixed him. Their interior, Miners, Cushenberry, they're good. They find the solution. They bring in Wick Wagner at tackle now because they lost James. The line is fine. The defensive line, Von Miller's coming back.
Von Miller's most
You have
overrated
Miller
linebacker.
and Chubb.
I think
Overrated. That's so funny. That's a joke.
AJ
What
was
is-
also
that
the
is-
one that was like,
is
I
the
don't care how
worst
much
take I've
JJ
ever-
Watt is worth.
Oh.
I don't want him.
the worst take ever.
AJ
So-
was like, JJ Watt's overrated too.
I also want to say something here. AJ just said that 10 wins is going to get it done easily. We talked about it earlier, but can Jordan Love get 10 wins right now? I think so.
No.
Yes.
Maybe.
I don't think
Yes.
so. No.
Not even close.
Jake,
With the roster we have.
with the roster around him,
He was running scout
If you
team last
give me
year.
the schedule,
yes.
and I'll think
He wasn't
about
even
it.
healthy all last year, and he didn't even play.
Give me 7 seconds.
Neither did Mahomes like his first year.
Give me the teams, because I think it's possible. And
Okay,
also,
you
I
have
would like
6
let me know
matchups
when I can go.
against-
The
also.
only reason that's possible is because we play the Bears, the Vikings, and the Lions
That's what
twice.
that's what you're saying about
That's
the whole
the
Rodgers thing.
entire point.
But I
Well,
don't think it's as easy for Jordan Love as it is for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
No
no,
one's saying
obviously
that.
not.
The
Well,
Packers
yeah.
with Rodgers
Again, thank you, Sherlock.
could even be a 12-13 win team again. Like, they can easily do that again.
Especially with an extra game.
Right. So, like, that's not what I'm trying. I think missing the point here. I'm not saying that the Denver situation is better, but I think putting down the Denver situation is a really odd take, and it feels like very Packer fan to me. Truthfully.
What's funny too, this wasn't even my take. Again, this went back to Colin Cowherd, which is with the point I was trying to make, which I think is a valid point, is the fact that I still think you're a stronger contender in Green Bay than you are in Denver.
Yeah,
No,
for
I
sure.
know. I understand that.
Which is where this all started, by the way.
Right. But the thing is,
But I think you hate Colin Cowherd so much you had to attack me for saying that.
No, it's really not. But then
Well, I
again,
hate
coming
Howard,
back with a
but-
Von Miller as the most overrated linebacker of all time is a
He's
weird
not a
take as
linebacker, he's
well.
an edge rusher.
That sounds like Cowherd to me, but again, like that's whatever it is. But
I'm
like,
not a Von Miller.
But
Jake, here's the schedule.
okay. I mean,
if there's this organizational
And then you
belief-
also have
Jordan
football
Love.
team and Chiefs
I think
at the
it's-
bottom.
I personally I would say 8 or 9.
I don't
It's
even-
certainly
With Love.
This is
very
with Love.
possible. Yeah, I think it's possible.
Yeah.
I'll go 6 or 7.
I think it's certainly
Chris,
possible. We are
You
we
think
are
they're going to
assuming
go 6
With
and 11?
Jordan Love.
we are assuming that we are assuming a lot of things here.
Yes.
Okay,
With the going 6 and 10, we are assuming a lot of things. I think with that
6 and
schedule.
11.
6 and 11.
6
6 and 11,
okay.
whatever.
Well,
No.
here's the thing.
Well, at least
I think
AJ
we-
got to correct me for once on this show. Thank
We also
goodness.
need to ask
Oh,
the question.
I like how I went from Jake loved my rant to now he just didn't like me.
Well, no, it's
The
just
Packers in
you came up.
2008.
You came up to square up. That's all. It's all right. We have
Was
fun
the
here.
Packers
That's
roster
okay.
in
You came up with the
2008.
Von Miller take. You came to square up. It's okay.
That's
We're
a good point,
AJ,
MJ.
You and me, we're
It
good.
was an
AJ,
extreme. It
you
was
and
an
me-
extreme take in the heat of the moment.
I understand.
But-
AJ, we're good, man. We're all good. This is all good. We're having fun. Everybody here, we're brothers on this podcast. Don't worry.
Do you need us
But-
to leave?
But we're good. We're good. We're good.
You're tuning in heaven.
Okay.
You need
Uh,
So let me
You
know.
need me
though.
to put you in a breakout room?
No, we're good.
No, okay.
We're straight. It's crazy. We can
So-
AJ. We're good.
The last thing I'll say before we force
I
Jake
like
to
this
talk
point, MJ.
is the Packers roster in 2008 was nowhere nearly as good as their roster is today. So yes, Aaron Rodgers struggled the first season, but then the next couple years he was very successful. So I believe that with an even more talented roster, Jordan Love would not have to carry the weight of the team. Jimmy G took the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl in the
Did he
same
take them?
style of
Same system.
offense,
Same
running
system.
the
Did
ball.
Jimmy G take them there?
every
though?
Did he take them?
Did he take them?
That's the entire point.
Did he
That's
take
the thing.
Don't say
That's
he
the
took
entire
them.
point.
Don't say he took them.
That's the entire point. The 49ers went to the Super Bowl
Well, do
with
you
Jimmy
think
G as their
that you
quarterback.
think the
The
Packers
Rams went to the
defense
Super Bowl
now
with Jared
compares
Goff as
to
their
what
quarterback.
they were doing in San
MJ.
Francisco?
MJ,
at
the
that time?
49ers defense is loaded back then.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is,
and
I
the
think, the
Packers have
one
more
thing-
offensive weapons than the Niners did. They have
Okay.
more offensive weapons than the Rams did, surrounding two terrible quarterbacks.
I
And
wouldn't
those
say about the Rams.
offenses,
No.
Wait.
Woods, Cup, and
Hold
Cooks,
on.
and Everett.
All right. So
no.
hold on. Hold on.
Okay, Jake,
Hold on.
I'm
the
gonna mute
Niners
myself.
had
Jake can
less
talk.
weapons?
No,
Fewer, technically, if you want to be grammatically correct, but yes.
the Rams one got
Huh?
me. That's right. They stop.
Yeah, stop.
Okay, so here's the thing, and I want to go back to the 6 to 10 wins, whatever on the schedule. Okay. Here's the problem: is the roster is nice. There's no doubt about it. The pass rush
Very
concerns the living crap out of me.
Yes.
If they don't get home, it could be a
They
long
didn't get
year.
rid of Preston Smith.
Period. It could be a long year. Period. If they don't get home on defense, no matter what Joe Barry does. So again, that's the thing. Like we're talking about how the Packers would do with Love at the helm. It's not even just that. It's not even the quarterback downgrade is a thing, but like we assume Joe Barry is going to make this seamless transition on defense, right? And hope that this defense, gets to a point where they were in 19, where they're forcing turnovers to get into home. Like if that doesn't happen, even with Aaron Rodgers, this team may not make the Super Bowl run. So like that's the thing with like the roster turnover and play year to year.
From Dom Caper to Mike Pett.
Play from
I can
year to
survive
year
whatever Joe Barry
changes, though. Play from year to year changes across the board. Apparently, unless you're the Tampa Bay defense. I don't know how, but whatever. Somehow. But
There's
Linebackers don't matter, Jake. Look at their linebackers.
they got home in Mahomes. That's what happened. I don't give a fluff about their linebackers.
Backup
Linebackers
The
tackles.
doo-doo.
linebackers are trash.
Backup tackles, Jake.
Yeah, so did the
Exactly,
linebackers
so
beat
they're
the
not
backup
even really good?
tackles? No.
Yeah, Barrett and JPP wrecked the
No.
game.
Okay. All right. Am
You
I
know,
going?
Jake
now?
finger, man.
Am I going?
Yeah, Jake,
Here.
go for it.
Okay. So everybody brought up a lot of good points. And yeah, I want to start with the news really quick. Obviously, that came out Thursday, right? Like Schefter is obviously I don't think Packers fans should go after Schefter. If you want to, just watch AJ's rant back a little bit. And there you go. You don't have to go after him. Just he's a reporter. He's doing his job. That's fine. Whatever. Okay. And I think this really, obviously, Andrew Brandt put out something really good about the power struggle and what the two opposing forces are really. And it is, and no matter where, and I'll get to LaFleur because that was obviously a good point earlier, but no matter where you are, this is Aaron Rodgers trying to not necessarily take over, but just be more involved. And that's where people are going to take these stories and run with them to no end to one, get rile out of the Packers fans here. They're trying to rile us with all of these reports and everything else. I'm telling you guys, if you're watching this, please should be measured. Okay. Just be measured. We really don't know what's what. Truthfully, we don't. We're not in the room. Schefter's not in the room either. Okay. You can get other GMs to comment and all that stuff. He's not in the room. Just hold off on the takes, okay? So all those reports about whatever, Jerry Krause, Kumaro, whatever, okay? The Kumaro thing, really quick. Ultimately, again, yeah, Rodgers praised Kumaro the day after they cut him. Probably would have been nice to let Rodgers know you were cutting him, maybe. Nice little
heads
text.
up, yeah.
Nice little text to be like, hey, Aaron, listen, you can talk this guy, but we're actually going to cut him. Just maybe not make him look foolish, but that's a really,
we don't got the spot. We don't get
a
the
really small thing, but
Yeah.
just wanted to address that because people are going crazy about that. And I don't care. Jake
Well,
Kumaro
people went
wasn't
crazy
that
about
good,
Jake
guys.
Kumaro already.
Jake Kumaro.
Jake Kumaro wasn't that good.
He has
I
a
didn't know
weird
the
fan
roster.
club.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I get it. They want a folk hero, whatever. But this all started obviously last draft. And the thing is, and Mason, and we brought it up, Goody had a nice first draft. Had a nice second draft. Actually, the first draft was Jair mostly. So I'll backtrack on that. First draft was mostly Jair. The rest of that draft was second draft was good so far. Top 3 picks,
Great.
looking strong. Kiki starting to make moves on that defensive line as well. So, but then everything kind of changed when you get a new coach in there. And so the problem is obviously LaFleur's coming in and he sees, okay, Rodgers kind of gone a little bit down. Maybe this is it for him. And I'm sure whether LaFleur, I may never, ever admit this in his life, but LaFleur probably was like, listen, I kind of want my guy at QB. So let's go get my guy at QB. And Goody signs off on that. They move up, they get Love. The clock starts there for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. The clock immediately started there. When that pick came off, everybody knew it. We knew it. I was stunned out of my shoes when that pick was made.
I thought it was Patrick Queen. So
I thought it was Queen. I thought it was Higgins. I thought it was Chenault, someone like that. And clearly they wanted Ayuk, which would have been great.
Or Justin Jefferson, apparently.
Jefferson would have been nice too.
Yeah.
But the clock started there. And then, as we talked about, LaFleur wants his bell cow running back. Wants the fullback in the system that's going to make plays for him. Then they built a wall on day 3. They did it again this year. Everything has been building to Jordan Love starting for this team.
Yeah.
The problem that threw the wrench in the entire plan was Aaron Rodgers going scorched earth last year and winning MVP. Something that I'm sure they wanted to happen, right, in that system. But the first year in the system wasn't great. Like, Aaron Rodgers played fine. They didn't. Not everything was unlocked. The second year they unlocked everything, and I think that's where once that season started to go the way it did, LaFleur was like, "Oh, I actually have my guy at quarterback." And now I think LaFleur has almost backed off of this rift a little bit because he has an MVP taking the snaps under center now. So LaFleur has now seen Aaron Rodgers become Aaron Rodgers again. And he has probably backed off, which, again, never admit it'll probably be on management or Rodgers, which is obviously the power struggle. But LaFleur may have unintentionally started this on his own.
And then
with what his preference was, and kind of like, listen, I said Aaron's my guy now. I'm in the clear. You guys figure it out, right? But obviously, he's obviously been in those, like they were talking about the reports of flying out to talk to him. Obviously, LaFleur is going to be talking to Rodgers to be like, listen, I want you here. Like, we've done special things already in year 2. So again, if LaFleur backed and had to backtrack on that, whatever, like that very well could have happened. So he goes out, has the MVP year. Now they're kind of stuck. But I always thought, and I think I've mentioned this before, that after 2021 was going to be the year where the out was there to move Rodgers. Because as much as we want Rodgers to sit here and be the quarterback until he's 45, you draft a guy in round 1, he's not sitting for 5 years. It's just not happening. That's just not the way it's going to go. You can't draft a guy 5 years later, be like, we have no idea who this guy is. We don't know. And again, I'm not going to sit here and be the guy who says, and the Packers fans who've been like, oh, if you support Rodgers after this, you're not a real fan. Yeah. Listen, here's the problem with that. 1, you're stupid and stop it. And 2, okay, the thing with this is you have to get that quarterback in there. Like, yeah. And
you have to see what he's got.
The other thing is, as somebody who will probably support Rodgers more than I should have supported Favre. Favre was in the wrong. Okay. We have to say it. Favre was wrong. Like, what he did was wrong back then.
Yeah.
Retire, not retire, unretire. Oh, I'm going to play now. You're going to give Aaron my job. Like, no, you made your decision.
I want my job back.
Go to the Jets. Have fun. Like, that's what he deserved for that. Truthfully.
He did have fun. That was the problem.
He deserved that. Truthfully. So
he didn't have too much fun. He had fun with the Vikings, not the Jets.
Yeah. And
no,
so,
he had fun at the Jets.
Then he got hurt.
No, AJ knows what I'm talking about.
I know
AJ
what I'm
saying. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. So Favre made his bed there, truthfully. Yep. Like, that's how it goes. Like, he was the villain. But now I think everybody's going to paint Rodgers as the villain when he's really not that much of one. And like I said, the media is going to do everything to blow up this story until something happens because it's going to be a slow off season, as it always is after the draft. It's always slow. So they have to keep pumping this. But like, I think all Aaron wants, truthfully, is obviously that more guaranteed money. I think AJ made the excellent point. I think he wants that because he has proved that he has deserved it. And an MVP, potentially his best season ever in 2020 has, I think, earned him that right to ask for it. But obviously the organization is stuck now. They are stuck completely because they made the decision they made last year in drafting a quarterback in the first round. Assuming, of course, that Rodgers would have another maybe 26-2 type of season again, like he did in 19. They're like, okay, look, he's kind of done. Like we gave him this quarterback-friendly system. It hasn't worked. And they're going to move on. So they are seriously stuck now. They are so stuck. So the people who are like, man, the organization is always above a player. Listen, the organization right now is not above reproach right now with the decisions they have made. So to sit here and again, I will pound the table for Goody because one, he drafted one of my favorite players I've ever scouted in Jair Alexander. Okay. He absolutely nailed the Jenkins pick.
Yep.
I'm going to forgive him for taking Sternberger over McLaurin. That hurt, but I'm going to forgive him because Gary, a pick I didn't like, is coming along well. Savage is doing well. He went out in free agency and got 2 Smiths, Amos, and Turner, and none have been bad.
They've been great.
And
all of them.
Preston Smith, I get it. Did not have a good year last year. The first year, my gosh. Both of them, unbelievable. You've had a versatile lineman in Turner, and Amos has probably been the best of all of them, but we don't even talk about him enough.
Because he's just
so
that good.
Goody went out and did a spending spree, like all y'all Packers fans that complain about they never do, to get this team where it was at. So I'm going to support Goody for sure with a lot of those decisions. But however, I'm not going to sit here and be blind and blindly support decisions when they're not the right decisions. Now, obviously, did a lot of us expect 48-5? No, maybe not. The problem is you didn't let that happen for year 2 in a system that Rodgers hadn't played in yet. And you went out and decided we're going to draft a quarterback in the first round. So no, I don't agree with that. And as Mason talked about, I like Jordan Love a lot as well. I thought, but Mason is now clearly the leader in the Jordan Love fan club. I thought I was higher than him than pretty much everybody last year in the process, but Mason clearly higher. So King Mason, take it off my head here. He can have it. But still, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the 2020 draft. Oh, let's wait. No, we're not waiting and seeing. Again, AJ Dillon can be good. I don't care. You drafted a running back in the second round. You had other needs to fill. Okay. And I'm not talking about
in the third round.
Here's the other thing. I'm not going to sit here and yell it and yell the, draft a wide receiver in the first round thing. That thing, I'm not even going to touch that because that's what Packers fans have been clamoring for. I don't care. They have nailed it in the second round for years on years on years on years. So don't have to, so the people who sit here and say they have to do it in round 1, they don't. Stop. You're also dumb. Stop. Okay. The problem is this is a star player. This is a superstar Hall of Fame quarterback. In 19, you put together great draft picks. In 2020, you are sitting here off of an NFC title game appearance, on the doorstep of a Super Bowl. And you guys decided, hey, let's draft guys who will not play any downs, basically, in 2020. Not going to add anyone who can make an impact and get us over the top. And we are going to run it back with the same thing rather than treat a lot of the picks as luxury selections to get good players in-house. So, Goody, I'm sorry. I am never going to sit here and support you with a 2020 draft that you put out. I'm not. I won't do it. Because as we watched Tampa Bay offseason, and I get it, Tom Brady took the pay cut. Great. That's fine. He took the pay cut. The problem is the Bucs sat here and like, what do we need? We can get over the top here. What do we need to do so? Oh, let's get probably the best tackle in the entire class at 13. Thanks for letting him fall to us, by the way. Let's get an excellent safety who was a round 1 player from jump. But because he was a little stocky, people were like, back off. No, he was a round 1 talent they took in the second round. Then late day 2, day 3. Guess what? They weren't satisfied with what they had at running back. They weren't even completely satisfied with what they had at receiver because, Chris Godwin might leave. Didn't. Obviously, you can look back and say he didn't, but Tyler Johnson, they went out and got Vaughn. 2 guys who, again, maybe haven't made the biggest impact, but they're swinging for guys that they knew they needed. They wanted more playmakers. They felt good about their defense. They added a great piece on the back end. They filled the needs. They filled what they needed to in 2020, and look what they did. They won a Super Bowl. So the 2020 draft ultimately told you they don't believe in Rodgers, and that is something they're going to have to deal with because, as I said before, to circle back completely, they are now stuck. What do you do with an MVP and a quarterback that you have to play at some point because he's a first-round quarterback? So now you are stuck. And now Aaron Rodgers, who has, again, never publicly come out and be like, this team sucks at getting me talent. He has never said that. All he's asking is, let him have a little bit of input in certain areas. Maybe, listen, I like this receiver. Maybe keep him on. I trust this guy. I don't trust this guy. And I'm not saying, like I said, to throw capital around willy-nilly at wide receiver like you don't have any. Right? And again, the people who had a field day with the get Rodgers weapons thing last year because they were the number 1 offense. Why was that team the number 1 offense?
Yeah.
Why were they? I'm looking for answers from you in the comment section. I think I know why the other 4 believe that they were the number 1 offense. Why? LaFleur's system is good. Okay?
Really good.
They had Aaron Rodgers. Okay? Aaron Rodgers makes that offense get to a whole new level. Those 2 things. Okay? Guess what? I am so happy for you guys who pound the table for MVS for him to make a few catches for touchdowns, a long touchdown. Great. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you that Robert Tonyan caught 10 touchdowns. Oh, wait, the scheme opened a lot up for him. Thanks. Okay. I don't care about that. You guys are going to pound the table for those guys who are basically replacement level players. I don't care. Okay. LaFleur and Rodgers and Adams and Jones and that offensive line were the key cogs. Okay. And yes, that is a great group to put together. But in the back of your mind in 2020, what were they missing? They were missing help on the back end, and they could have used a little more interior pressure. 2 things that in this draft and next draft lack a lot. So in 2020, you sat back, saw needs get worse over the course of the 2020 season. And I'm not saying those were the massive things that led to the downfall in the title game. I get it. The offense made some mistakes and the defense made plays. But ultimately, you're trying after an NFC championship bid to get the best team out there. And truthfully, you left it as it is and wasted a draft. And I'm not saying you wasted it for the future. I get the future thing. I understand. But you wasted it in a window that you had to go win a title. So Rodgers is asking to make this team better. And that's why, and the disgruntled thing is coming from the 2020 draft. It's not really coming from anywhere else. The Kumaro thing, whatever. I just think Green Bay in 2020 in April started this thing with the direction they went down. So what do? I know I want to finish. I know it's been a long rant. Where do I go if I'm the GM here? Truthfully, well, if I was the GM, we wouldn't be in this mess. I went draft my quarterback last year. So there's the first thing for you, folks. But now we're in this decision. So if I'm inheriting this decision, we have to see what we have. We have to.
Yep.
And
Jake,
it doesn't mean this year, truthfully.
Yes.
I don't think it's this year. It might not even be next year. But at some point in this rookie deal, we have to see. We have to. And again, I knew coming in that I was going to be inching to both sides of this argument. I knew I was going to be. And I know the Rodgers fans in here are a little disappointed. And I understand. Truthfully, again, like I said, the 2020 draft with me would have gone a lot differently. And maybe we're hosting a Lombardi at this point. And I'm not giving myself that kind of credit, but like I'm saying, like addressing needs would have been the way to go and helping out as best you could for a team that was ready to get it done. So
You go ahead.
At this point, if Rodgers is that disgruntled, you almost have to let him go. And it hurts to say. It hurts a lot to say that you have to let him go. But I hope they can come back together.
If you love someone,
this
you have
year,
to let them go.
At some point, you do.
Exactly.
But if it were me, I'd be like, listen, I get it. We drafted Jordan Love, Aaron. Listen to me. This year, scorched earth, let's go. We are making the run this year. We are not trading you this year. You are the guy that is going to take us over the top in what is still albeit short, but it's a Super Bowl window. It's there. We got to go take it. We need you. So that's where I'm at. I think you have the priority is getting Rodgers back in that building for this year and potentially next. But obviously at some point, maybe when the window closes, even after next year, because of where the cap is at, if you've seen the number for next year, you know what I'm talking about, that this team will ultimately have to be torn down. And that's where you start. Not now, when you have everybody brought back for a run it back, this is our shot, we're taking it scenario. This isn't the year. This is not the year for Jordan Love. This is the year to run it back and hoist the Lombardi. And I'm done.
So let's clap for Jake real quick.
Well said.
I like a lot of what you said there. Like that's pretty much how I feel. Number one, you said exactly how I feel about the 2020 draft. I may seem like I'm on the whole entire I don't like Rodgers, let's move to Love thing, but from a team building standpoint, that's kind of what you have to do right now. In 2020, it should have been address the needs, get your linebacker, defensive tackle, whatever you want.
And push to this year, perhaps.
Yes. Don't draft your backup quarterback that you're going to develop. I mean, I know it's a bad example because look at the salary cap out that they're in, but look at what New Orleans did for Brees. So, I mean,
everything possible.
Yes, they did a lot. That was not what Green Bay wanted. Again, I'll agree with what Jake said again. I'm a big Goody guy, but it seemed like he wrote off on what seemed like LaFleur's decisions.
Kind of did.
So,
but again, we're never going to know if those were LaFleur's decisions. We'll never know now.
So
now we'll never know.
What seemed like it. But for me, it may seem like I'm on the whole entire I don't like Rodgers. Let's just move to Love, which I'm not. If it was me, you would have taken what you need that year. I don't think any of us really hate Aaron Rodgers. If it was our decisions, we aren't in this position.
Yeah.
But the front office and Goody and LaFleur and whoever else, Mark Murphy, they've got themselves into this position where they need to decide, and it has to be now. Over the next year. I don't care. But I don't know what the one deal is with how many preseason games there is, but Love needs as much time as he can possibly get. If there's 3, I don't care. Don't even put Rodgers on the field, which I don't even know he's going to be in camp. So give Love as much playing time as he needs.
Yeah.
And I know if he misses one bad throw, oh God, look at what you're going to get.
Packers Twitter is going to kill him.
I'm telling you right now, just everybody here, because I know everybody here, despite being fans, will be level-headed for the most part about, hopefully at least, what Jordan Love's going to do in the preseason. Because listen, I remember this exact same thing. Aaron Rodgers in a preseason game. Aaron Rodgers came in a game and broke his ankle. And the entire world sat there and was like, listen, this is who you expect to lead us after Favre? So every throw is under the biggest microscope we've ever seen from a Packers perspective. Every throw.
I don't think any of us are in as bad as a position as it seemed before, because we all have that same opinion. We have that same opinion as we shouldn't even be in this situation.
Yeah.
If it was any of our decisions, 2020 draft doesn't happen. We don't draft a running back in the second round. We don't draft a fullback in the third round. We don't draft a developmental quarterback when Rodgers just had his first year in a new system. That's where I
say. In the moment, I had the same reaction as everybody else. Why in the world are we drafting a quarterback, right? But I have never been opposed to that pick specifically. I didn't like the rest of the draft, and I remember sitting there in quarantine, pretty sure I was picking up Outback after day 3. And I remember sitting there, I'm like, after Jordan Love, I really don't love this draft. And when you look at it without emotions, without relationships attached, the Jordan Love pick was not a bad pick. He is the type of quarterback that would be able to come in, but I don't think you want to look at it that way, because you need to look at it in a sense. Organizations are always planning for now and the future, especially the Green Bay Packers.
Especially in Green Bay.
They don't do what the Saints did with Drew Brees, and that was your point, Mason. The Packers are never going to do that, at least with the current ownership and the current front office. They are never going to go full in to the point where they could destroy their team for a couple of years afterwards. They're just never going to do it. So we need to stop expecting it. So the Jordan Love pick, that's pretty much on par. It's the same thing they did with Brett Favre, and they were trying to make that pick in a more ideal world where they thought Aaron Rodgers wouldn't get upset by it because he went through the same thing. They thought he would be more relatable, and they thought he would coach Love and be his big brother. And sadly, it doesn't look like that's happened. But in a vacuum, Jordan Love is the type of quarterback that could succeed with the current Packers offense and the current system. The rest of that draft was not good. And the way that it is played out, because of the relationships involved and the egos involved in this situation, have clearly not been ideal. But in a vacuum, drafting Jordan Love, or even taking Love's name off of it, drafting a quarterback that you think could replace Aaron Rodgers after a bad year, NFL teams don't really have the luxury of waiting around and seeing, because the second you have a terrible year, you're getting ripped and you might get fired. So if Rodgers regressed in 2020 and they didn't have a backup plan, Goody and Mark Murphy would be getting destroyed right now. But because Rodgers went scorched earth, they look like the idiots. So yes, because of how it played out, they look like idiots for drafting Jordan Love. But if you reverse it and Rodgers regresses, they look like geniuses.
I mean, I actually don't think necessarily that's the case, but I'll let someone else go. I should say part of it's not the case, MJ. The part of it is 100%. I agree. I think the part that I want to address is if Rodgers regressed again in 2020, that's when you start having the conversation, because having the conversation a year after Rodgers has transitioned and this entire team has transitioned into a new scheme is not the greatest way to look at it. I get it. Like they had the offseason, they had the preseason to get everything together. The problem is we assume that players will easily move over to a different scheme. We assume players can do that because they're at a high level. Schemes are complicated. We sit here from an outside perspective saying, oh, listen, new scheme, no problem. We got everybody in place. Easy, no problems. No, that's not how it goes. And even players have talked about this. A season is never a straight line either. It is choppy. Everything goes 100 different ways. So after 1 year in a LaFleur system, it boggles my mind that they go, instead of, oh, it was 1 year, let's get the personnel in here, also extra personnel in here to help us out. No, they decide, and it almost felt like an outside analyst fan perspective. Oh, 1 year didn't work. Better do something else. That's the part that is troublesome.
Yes.
So I get what you're saying, but if Rodgers regresses in 2020, then you go, okay, well, the scheme isn't working. Year 2 should have been the year for the breakout. And then you take the look at the quarterback, because now you're in a position where you feel like the window is closed. Last year, the window wasn't closed. Under Favre, it felt like the window was closed. It was the mid 2000s. They were not that good. The window had felt closed until 07.
Yeah.
The window here was not. They went to a title game.
Back-to-back years.
The scheme wasn't there. Not everybody had fully, had fully embraced and risen through that scheme in one season, and they still made a title game.
I want to talk about two things that MJ made. I wasn't saying like, oh, they're saying you have to go all in like they did. Like,
yeah,
you could.
I know.
Yeah, And then another thing is, I agree with you about the whole entire like getting your replacement so that you're not like what Chicago had to do and ship future like a shit ton of draft capital to get your guy. Which I mean, sure, that's fine for them, but I don't think they're ready to win. They don't have a left tackle right now. Tevin Jenkins is not a left tackle.
They actually didn't give up that much, which is crazy to think about. Because again, they took advantage of a guy who's never traded back. But anyway,
I mean,
but
it's Gettleman. What do you expect?
Exactly. That's what I mean. They took advantage of Gettleman. Smart.
Yeah. Anyway. I mean, it's so you're not in a position with like Chicago, but I still the whole entire after a year of the new system, that is what got me just absolutely wondered. It was awful because I'm still siding with the whole entire LaFleur is the one that did this, and then Goody signed off on it, which is his fault too.
I think it is. I truly, Mason, I'm with you 100% on that. I really think
because
that's the case.
That whole entire
they didn't get rid of him right away.
No. But the thing is,
that's where I don't like. That's where I don't like the discussion that drafting Jordan Love is signing off on Rodgers leaving right away.
No,
they were giving themselves a contingency plan, which is what you're supposed to do.
I don't think. Yeah, I get the contingency plan thing, but listen, I get it. They had 1 year with Rodgers, and so he didn't sign off. But then again, you expect that the front office, maybe in that first draft in 19, we're like, listen, we have 2 picks. Yeah, the quarterback class isn't good. We don't want one. Guess what? It's not. That class was not good. Kyler Murray is fine. Daniel Jones is got 1 year, maybe. Drew Lock has 1 year, maybe. And Dwayne Haskins is already on a new team. Like that. And then again, Minshew. But Minshew got replaced. Like that quarterback class was not good, period. So LaFleur even telling Goody, listen, at some point I want my guy could have been right away.
Yeah.
But the problem is they didn't see one in the 19 class that they wanted. So they then decided we'll wait till 2020 to find a better one. And they found potential. And maybe LaFleur had come to him in 2020 after a discussion in 19 and said, listen, this guy, I think he's my guy. And that
was late in the process too. There was no word about Love to Green Bay until the week of the draft. There was nothing. And like you said, Rodgers hadn't played in the system in 2019 yet. Once he played that season and he didn't look great, that's when the whole entire is he done started coming out. Like,
yeah, as if it didn't take even a quarterback like him. Look, and that's the other thing. Brady, the first 6-7 games,
awful.
Oh my gosh, was it a struggle? Why? Because the scheme was different than New England.
Very different.
They righted the ship, but the scheme was different.
Yeah.
For Brady. And that's why the struggle happened. They got destroyed by the Saints that second time around. And people thought this team is done. They'll make the playoffs, but they are done. Yeah, they lost to the Bears. So the scheme transition thing is again something that I still feel like overlook.
I mean, that's another thing, like how much that's like getting away from the conversation, but how does that affect our defense this year and everything too? Like that's just off topic too, but I don't even know anymore because the whole entire scheme change and then, you didn't play great. Let's get our new developmental quarterback. Yeah, it
just felt very rushed and very.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem for me, and the whatever happens, which again, whatever happens is definitely going to mean that Jordan Love will start at some point. That's the whatever happens thing at some point. Maybe not this year, but next, most likely. We are going to still look back to the 2020 NFL draft for the Green Bay Packers and decide for ourselves, was this right?
That same conversation though had to when we drafted Rodgers. Rodgers sat for 3 years. I mean, granted, we want. I mean, when you draft a guy, you're expecting him to go. And look, Rodgers' contract is going to be up, and we talk about getting rid of him. Obviously, I think we all agree this is not the year. Yeah, it kind of sucks that this whole drama is going down this year because I think you're right. This is the window. Let's do it. Let's win it. And then let's reevaluate. Okay, can we make that run again the following year? And we'll see how long that takes us. And then Jordan Love's our guy. But for Love to go in right away, whether he had injury problems last year. This is now second year in the system. Year 3. I mean, if he's starting year 4, am I okay with that? Yeah. I don't hate Jordan Love. I don't like him in the draft pick last year. If Jordan Love was in the draft next year, awesome. If we would have, if Jordan Love was 2 years younger and was now coming out next year and we went for him, cool.
Yeah.
That's a perfect situation. But this is the hand we're dealt, and this is what we have to deal with now.
So they are dealt it. So the one thing you said, Rodgers sat for a few years. Truthfully, back even 15 years ago, 16 years ago, as we see it now, that was much more commonplace. Sitting a year, sitting a couple of years. That's way more commonplace. Now it's like, listen, we got to get this guy in the field. We got to see what he is immediately because truthfully, if we don't see it, then we have time to quickly reverse ourselves, get ourselves a new quarterback so that we can save our jobs.
Well, because we've seen so many people like Russell, Patrick Mahomes win on these rookie deals where you can put a lot of things around them. And yes, exactly.
So the pressure's there. And
so, but
clock,
I mean,
like I said, the clock started.
This model has worked
26
for us.
overall.
This model has worked for us. So I right now to doubt it, it seems like the world is ending. But again, I think a lot of this is blown out of proportion. I don't think we're in that bad a shape, and I still think we're set up pretty well.
And that's why I don't like people overreacting so much to Jordan Love getting drafted, because the Packers do sit their quarterbacks. That's what they did with Aaron Rodgers, and there's absolutely no reason to believe that they wouldn't do the same thing with Jordan Love.
And look, Brett Favre
ever do anything traditional.
Brett Favre would still be on the bench if Don Muskowski wouldn't have got hurt. I mean, he wouldn't have got that opportunity. He would have sat there behind him for a while as well. But he just had, the chips fell where they may. So he got the opportunity and he took advantage of it. So it does feel like the world's kind of crumbling around just because everything's been blown out of proportion. But again, I just don't think we're in as bad a shape as it seems.
In Rodgers' own words, relax.
Which Packer fans do not know how to do.
They not at all. I don't think they've ever known how to do that.
No.
I made a post about that on Facebook saying for fans that like to say RELAX a lot, they don't know how to do it at all.
Oh, I know. I want to make a YouTube video so bad to just absolutely roast Packers fans for not relaxing ever and doing that. But I would get 84 dislikes to 1 like maybe because that's just
I'll be the one like Jake. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like, oh,
yeah.
How dare you tell me who I am and how I operate?
And also too, we talked about last year when it's like, oh, we didn't. Packers fans erupted. We didn't get him any weapons. I still say we don't sleep on Devin Funchess.
Yeah, a good first game in Indy. That's all I'll say. That one game in Indy, he got peppered with targets and he looked decent.
Yeah.
And look, an injury was a big deal for him, but he's been off for a year. You know what I mean? He's had time to rehab. He's had time to. I mean, to think that he'll come back anything less than 100%. I just don't think. Yeah. And he made a lot of great plays in Carolina with a quarterback who was not as good as Aaron. Well, not as good of a thrower of the football as Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, not as accurate.
Yeah. But I will say, I mean, for the people who like the weapons thing, I still think a lot of those guys are still replacement level, but they gave them time and here we are. And yeah, I'm sure I saw the reactions when I said Tunyon was replacement level.
I mean,
especially from MJ. Especially from MJ.
MJ looked like his puppy died. When
I know. MJ was like, you said that about Big Bob?
Well, here's the thing. I agree.
Wait, did AJ mishear Big Bob and Big Dog? And that's where we got tumbled up.
Probably.
Because see, obviously they do call him Big Bob. So maybe you just misheard the one time and you ran with it.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to let him backtrack. Yeah. So comments, please don't roast AJ for that. Okay. We had a fun time with it, but he could have misheard Big Bob as Big Dog, and that could have been the mix-up. There you go.
I mean, when you got 2 tight ends and you nickname them both Big, I mean, shit. Let's get a little bit more clever than that, guys. Come on.
I will say something. We talked about the whole entire, would you rather keep Tunyon or would you rather get a 2nd-round pick, which was his tender in this class?
I would have rather had the 2nd round pick.
All 3 of us on the Cheeseheads podcast said give us that 2nd-round pick, especially in this class.
Hey, I was driving a little bit of a train to say, let's get another tight end this class.
And Brevin Jordan fell to what, the 4th, 5th round?
I know. He fell so far.
What a shitty
Jake was taking him in the 2nd.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, that's because that's before he tested. And then we're like, oh,
JK.
I mean, here's this.
No, thank you.
Would you rather be the Packers front office right now, or would you rather be the Texans front office?
Packers.
Does
I'm just-
anybody does
Yeah, I know.
anybody
Does
I'm
want
just
to be
anyone
the
want to be the
Texans?
Texans
I
front
know. I'm
office?
just saying, like, look at everyone's like,
Texans
holy
front office
shit, what's
doesn't-
going on?
Mason's
Yes.
trying to use logic on a
The
fan base that has
Texans-
forgotten how to do that.
The
but yeah.
Texans signed like 707 one-year deals this year in free agency
and
for
they'll do it again
guys
next
who
year.
are like, oh, hope
Replacement level
he
starts.
starts.
And,
Maybe
In this scenario, does Deshaun Watson ever play football again for the Texans?
I
Not for
doubt
the
it.
Texans. No.
I
Yeah,
doubt
not for
I
the
doubt it.
Texans.
But
Yeah, then Packers.
so yeah, I mean, look, this has been fun. This is
We're
got
still
a
the
lot
best
less,
team in the NFC North.
lot less heated than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
especially when we started, because I
Jake-
think we're
Jake was the
measured here.
turning point.
Yeah,
He got all of us on the same situation. Like, this 2020 draft is what started it all. If this
Yeah.
didn't happen, we wouldn't be in this fucking situation.
Yeah.
Damn it, Jake!
Yeah,
why
shout-
are you so
yeah,
logical?
Shout out Jake for his rant today. That was good.
I just hope we're not stuck
I'm here to
wondering.
serve.
We're not stuck wondering what if we move off a Hall of Fame quarterback who's on a short list of like the best to ever do it for Jordan Love, and then he turns out to be a bust.
I don't think Love's gonna be a bust.
Well, can you?
Remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Especially when he didn't take a snap
And-
last year.
Like
So,
his-
Everyone thought
Historically-
Rogers would be a bust. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Historically-
yeah, until you see it.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
know.
and
what
a lot
he's
of people
going
thought
to be.
Mahomes was going to be a bust. A lot of people thought Watson was going to be a bust. So, I mean,
That's why it's such a
Yeah.
tough situation. Yeah.
It is again, and it's something though the Packers put themselves in.
I
Like
know.
everybody wants to talk about, like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a baby. Aaron Rodgers is a diva.
A little bit.
This
Low bet.
entire organization,
Low bet.
if they didn't do this right, puts themselves on blast for everybody because of this. Like Aaron Rodgers, whatever, diva, whatever. Like, listen, tell me at your job right now, if you're sitting at your job and they hire somebody who is going to replace you, how do
I know,
you
you're
feel?
sitting there with your replacement.
How do you feel? Truthfully,
I work my butt off so that he never gets my job. That's what I do.
Come
And that's
on,
what Aaron Rodgers
Jay.
did.
right?
I'm leaving anyways for my job. So they can do whatever the hell they
So
want.
like the thing is, and that's the thing though, like everybody looks at this from a perspective that they'll never be in this perspective. So I don't care. Aaron Rodgers is a baby. Someone's taking his job. Oh well, boo-hoo. Like these guys are competitors in the NFL. Like these guys.
Really? Aaron Rodgers was threatened by Jordan Love? Really? I don't understand Packers fans say Aaron Rodgers should feel threatened by Jordan Love, but at the same time,
No.
I wouldn't dare have him quarterback my team. Then why does Rodgers feel threatened? If Love is that bad, why does Aaron Rodgers feel threatened?
They didn't,
Again,
they didn't
I don't
draft
know-
him not to play him.
Yeah, the thing
Yeah.
is like the threatened
But they don't
thing.
play their quarterbacks right away.
Yeah, but again,
MJ, he can see
you
the
say
writing
they
on the wall,
don't.
man.
You can say they don't play
He's
them
also
right away.
37. He should be seeing the writing on the wall anyway.
But again, I think
The-
Jake brought up the point earlier. It starts the clock on you.
It started
Yeah.
the
And
clock
then
immediately.
all of a sudden, that becomes
And I know that MJ has talked about this, and the Packers sit their quarterbacks. This is what they have done here, though, with Goody and LaFleur. And both of them were, as we've talked about, they were both in on this. When you draft a quarterback in the first round, then that's where the threatened comes from, because you're playing him.
Yep.
This isn't Aaron Rodgers is not going to sit out here and be threatened by a guy like Ian Book, who was drafted fourth. Like if the Packers drafted Ian Book, nobody's going to be sitting here and being like, "Oh,
Nah,
Aaron
he probably
Rodgers is
still would have.
They
He still would've been
drafted
a baby
Brett
about it.
Hundley. They drafted
MJ
Brett
thinks
Hundley.
Aaron
Second.
Rodgers is a baby, and that's
Second,
the part of Twitter, Packers Twitter, I kind of hate.
Well,
So maybe
they
MJ and that
drafted
guy.
I know,
have
Jake.
beef.
They drafted Brett Hundley in the 5th, 6th round.
Yeah.
that was earlier than that.
Did
right?
anybody
Wasn't it
care?
4?
No, it was the 5th. Was it the 4th? I don't think so.
It was like
I
the
mean,
fifth or sixth. I
It was
think.
5. It was actually 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it was the
I
fifth.
thought it was a lot earlier.
Nobody sat here and said anything. Why? It's not first round draft capital for a quarterback.
Yep.
First round draft capital for a quarterback tells
It
you
was the 5th
immediately,
round.
especially now, as we've said, he's starting within a couple seasons. Period.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter because you're not going to sit here on if through 4 years and pick up a 5th-year option on a guy you have no idea about. It's just not going to happen.
It's bad
So
business.
you're telling
And-
me that
It's
even
not
if
gonna
Rodgers
happen.
continues at 48-5, which he probably wouldn't do. Let's say he goes back down to normal, which is like 40-6, 40-8 for the next 2 years. You think the Packers would still start Jordan Love over him and get rid of Rodgers? No.
Eventually, yes, they would have to.
No.
They'd have to.
So you're going, yes, they would. Yes,
They would eventually have
Because
to.
This
Yeah.
is not the 2000s, okay?
Yeah.
It isn't.
I know.
Alex Smith played fine. Okay? He played fine with Andy Reid.
Yeah.
They said, nope, you're
So
out of here.
comparing Alex Smith to Aaron Rodgers?
Well,
Again,
a lot of
Right.
people,
Well,
a lot of
comparing-
people did in that
round of
draft.
applause to MJ for turning into Packers Twitter during this.
No,
now.
he's-
Thanks.
I
If
had
anything-
to. I
It's
had
a
to.
situation.
But if anything is comparing Love more to Mahomes,
That's what I'm saying.
which there is some
that
comps
fine?
of.
Is that okay? Do you like the Love to Mahomes comp? Do you like it? I know you like it a little bit.
I will say this.
MJ,
I-
do you like it a little bit? Yeah, I love
I-
it. Okay.
like
I
going
mean,
going
yeah,
from
if he's getting
going,
compared to Patrick Mahomes, I don't like that.
You like it a
go-
little bit?
going
Little bit?
going
I like it a
from
little bit.
going
Okay.
from defending Rodgers to let's talk about Jordan Love. I think I love the situation he's in
I see what you did there.
because I think when you're put in a situation like this, that puts a massive chip on your shoulder. So you have to show up and like you said earlier, like everything he does in the in the preseason is going to be put under a microscope, and I think that puts pressure on you. When you put pressure on somebody like that, it either brings out the best of them or the worst of them. So I think that situation going into when he finally does get there, like Rodgers took advantage of it, obviously year 2, but still Rodgers lit it up in year 2. I mean, I still remember that Cardinals playoff game. That thing was electric.
Oh,
A great time.
4,400 yards, 30 touchdowns, 7 picks for Rodgers.
So
That's what I
again,
mean. I think when you have somebody under that microscope, under that pressure, we're either going to get the very best out of Jordan Love, like he's either going to be boom or bust, and
I
we're going to find
know
out quickly.
that we like to sit here and obviously the Packers, oh yes, their front office will not cave in to the pressure from the media to get Jordan Love out there. I understand that.
Mhm.
The problem is
There is no
is
pressure from
at
the
some
media.
point, the issue is if you're sitting here and everything fixes with Rodgers and you extended him, great. Like you get a few more years of Rodgers even, which would be nuts. Then now you're sitting here, Aaron Rodgers, maybe he's done after those 1, 2, 3 years, right? Maybe he's done after that point and you're able to move him, or maybe he walks away. Okay. Now you are in a situation where in a few months, you must pick up a 5th-year option on a player you have not seen. And then you start him the first year he starts, and the jury is still out after 1 season. And with first round quarterback draft capital, how much do you have to pay him? You're going to have to pay him a good bill no matter what. Average starting replacement level type players are still getting 14, 15, $16 million a year, period.
Look at what Bridgewater got last year.
Exactly.
Yep.
Is Bridgewater good? No, not really. He got 21 million a year. So either if you commit to Rodgers long term and you sit on Love for 4 years and you don't win a Super Bowl, people will be like, well, what was the 2020 draft for? It wasn't for anything. You didn't do anything with it.
The 2020 draft.
So then you're sitting here, oh, well, we didn't win a Super Bowl with Rodgers. We went all in. We tried our best. The problem is we set ourselves up for the future. We haven't seen him. This is year 5. We got to see him. But we don't know. And now you're an organization that could be in purgatory because you haven't seen enough with Jordan Love after 1 season, and you have to extend him. They
Then
can't
we
do
That's why
that.
I'm saying they should move on now.
It
That's why I'm
can't
saying they
happen.
should move on now.
Ship
Exactly.
him out to Chi-Town.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but
The
my point
Packers-
is,
No, but
if you're gonna-
it's more to your point that's saying, oh, the Packers let these guys sit for a while. They can't. They can't happen. They have put themselves in this situation.
No,
they're
I wasn't-
stuck.
I wasn't
They put
saying- I
themselves in
wasn't
this
saying-
situation.
I
No,
wasn't saying
AJ.
sit
Look
him.
at MJ.
No, I'm talking to MJ.
no, he's talking to me.
I'm talking to MJ where he says the Packers
yeah,
they
yeah,
can let
yeah.
him sit forever. No, can't.
Yeah, and
You have
I'm
to
not
find out.
saying
doesn't
On the
happen
investment
anymore.
they made, they have to
I'm
find
not
out.
saying forever, but my
No.
point is, if you have Aaron Rodgers throwing 40-8, I'm not saying they won't do it, but I'm saying it would be idiotic to play Jordan Love.
If you do 40-8 and you don't win a Super Bowl, you move on.
You have to.
You're
because you
48
have to
and
see.
you win
Maybe
it,
Jordan Love
So
hits
you
a
move.
ceiling.
So AJ, you want to move on right now after he just did 48-5? By that
No, I
logic,
said if you
You
do
might have
40-8
to.
next year and you win the Super Bowl, it's a different story.
The
If he
thing
does
is
40 and
what
8
he's
and
talking about.
doesn't,
Yeah, the thing is he's talking about if Aaron Rodgers and this crew hasn't put yourself over the top, you've already put yourself in a cap situation that's not good. This is the year to run it back and make it happen, right?
Yeah.
Because after that, you're going to tear it down. And with Rodgers approaching 40, with a roster that's going to be a little bit shedded, you have to almost tear it down and start back up and do whatever you possibly can to give Jordan Love enough around him to figure out what you have.
so one more year of Rodgers and then go to Love.
Yeah, that's what
I think next year's the
what you
last
have
year.
to
Yeah.
do.
I remember on
That's
Gold
what you
Zone,
have to do.
MJ, AJ, and I were talking about this, and I said this was the year. The out is next offseason. That's always been where it's been.
Yep.
It's
And I
always
never
been,
said,
yeah.
and I, as somebody who I was like, okay, the pick isn't necessarily bad,
No.
but part of me says it's not necessarily bad, right? But part of me says, oh, this is bad because the out is there, and you have to know.
And you have
And
to.
if Rodgers as the Super Bowl window, that was the tugging, and that's the both sides that is tugging at this since last Thursday. It is all in or tear it down.
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It's Super Bowl or bust. Like if Rodgers wins it this year, if we win it this year with Rodgers, it throws a wrench into the system where then we have to go
We're
forward.
already in.
Yeah. Because I mean, when was the last time a team got rid of a quarterback after they won the Super Bowl? Trent Dilfer?
Rodgers isn't Trent Dilfer.
Exactly. So if you
so-
win the Super Bowl, but even if he has another great season, he goes 40-8 and you don't get there and you
You
don't
got to
win
move
it.
on.
Another thing that was brought up was you mentioned about 40-8 with Rodgers, what was going on. We've likened this situation to the Mahomes, Alex Smith thing. Alex Smith had his best year of his career, and then they let him go. So, I mean, you have to after this year either way. If you really want to stick with Rodgers, then you need to do something with Love now.
Yeah.
But if you want Love, you need to figure it out this year, like almost this offseason. Figure it out. See what he can do in the preseason. If you like what you see, play it out with Rodgers if that's what you want to do, and then you need to ship on Rodgers off. And then if you're committed to Love, that's how I've always seen it. And I mean, it's just how team building goes. You can't have two star quarterbacks on. Well, I won't say star. You have Rodgers and you have your backup developmental guy. You need to figure it out. And this year has to be the year.
I mean, you'd like to be the Patriots where your quarterback wins 6 Super Bowls, but he won 6 Super Bowls. We haven't done that.
No.
So if your guy's not doing that, and obviously no disrespect to Aaron Rodgers, fucking most talented ever, maybe. Like, if we're not going to get there, we got to, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So,
and if you have a guy with tools, plenty of upside to potentially get you to a point that you have to get to and you want to get to, and the goal of this entire thing is to get to, you have to take that chance at some point, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying though, and I know I went after MJ a little bit. I'm just saying,
go for it.
I'm just saying at some, like the main premise was for me is you drafted this guy in the first, you have to know at some point, because if you're thinking from the organizational perspective of Goody and LaFleur, the instant you make that pick, we talked about how the clock ticks for Aaron Rodgers, but the clock ticks for you. The clock ticks for you, because you can't sit there and the owner and the president of the team and be like, listen, you did all this. When is this going to happen? I want to know what this is going to turn into as the president. And you're sitting there in the GM head coach. You're like, yeah, we made this decision. We have to live with it. We have to go through with this decision that we made at some point, because if nothing comes of it and we're stuck in purgatory, well, then the president's going to be like, listen, you guys are in purgatory. You never made this decision. What was this decision about? I'm going back to 2020. Listen, you're out of here. That's the only thing I'm trying to say. And I get the sitting thing, but at this point, we have now reached an impasse, it seems. And I know people are going to say it is a few. No, it's more of an impasse.
It's an impasse, yeah.
So you have to figure out where you're at.
Think about this situation. We extend Rodgers. We go on. Rodgers plays well. We don't win the whole thing. Eventually, Jordan Love, after 4 years, we don't pick up the option. He goes somewhere else and he lights it the fuck up.
No,
That's a nightmare.
that'd be
The front
awful.
office.
And another thing I wanted to say.
Can
here
you
is-
imagine the Rams move on from Stafford and
Yep.
McVay gets Love?
No,
Good.
Another thing here
Don't
is
do that to me.
Because they will
is
eventually have first round picks again.
Yep. And
Eventually.
if you ship off Love somewhere else right now, you're not going to get much capital for him. I mean, you might from some desperate quarterback
Maybe a
team.
little bit,
It'll be
but
what, a
like-
second round pick, third round pick?
second or a third. Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
that's all you're doing.
Your Rodgers is still 38, 37. How many years is he going to have
It's
left?
going to
You're gonna-
happen again.
You're going to have to get that quarterback.
They're going to have
So
to do
you
it
need-
again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a shitty situation.
Which we
And again-
brought on ourselves.
Part of
Yeah,
themselves,
they put this on themselves. This impasse, again, as much as Rodgers could be, being a little bit petty and igniting it a little bit, like that's who he kind of is.
But
That's
after
who he's kind of
16
been on
years
the
and
field a
3
little bit too.
MVPs.
He's a little petty,
Yeah.
but I don't care. I embrace the petty because he has to, because he knows where he's at. He knows he's in. The clock is ticking, right? So like he knows this, so he has to make a move and say, listen, communicate with me. I want to be here. Like that has to happen. And that's where Rodgers is at, right? Because like we said, we're not going to, even if they somehow, which would be absolutely nuts, ship Love off for a third or 2/3, maybe, let's say. I don't know if he's going to net a second. Let's say it's 2/3 for fun. That's still like the front office is admitting
Yes.
we're wrong.
We fucked up.
We were wrong. We screwed up.
Yeah.
And then that gets more
And
backlash
then-
anyways.
And then here it is. That's a strike. And
Mhm.
they might not get another. So
I mean,
they're
then what
so
happens?
stuck.
What happens if that is Rodgers' downfall that year too? So,
Yeah.
I mean,
But I get it. I know. And then now I know Mason said, now what if it's Rodgers' downfall? And then MJ, I think it's going to come back to, well, maybe they thought 2019 was Rodgers' downfall. So I knew it was coming, and I knew it was in your brain. I knew it was when Mason said that immediately. The problem is year 2, he was MVP in the system. So
Here will be my final statement.
Ooh,
I
closing
think
arguments from MJ.
closing arguments
think
is probably a
both-
good spot to be at right now, truthfully, for everybody. So
after
Yeah.
2 hours
Yeah.
and about
I
an
think-
hour and 40 minutes of the Rodgers talk, yeah.
here's my ideal situation, and here's my ideal recap. Both the Packers front office and Aaron Rodgers have made some mistakes. Aaron Rodgers has not reacted as well as everybody expected, given the fact that he went through this himself. And the Packers front office has even admitted in some of their press conferences in the last week, we did not communicate as well as we should have. Moving forward, my ideal situation is we get a Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers' last dance.
One
we
more
get
year.
one more year. And honestly, even if Aaron Rodgers and the Packers come out and acknowledge that this is our last year, and after this, we're going to part ways, I have no problem with that, because he's going to go out there and he's going to scorch the earth again.
let's go. Baby.
And the Packers are going to continue to simultaneously do their best to win now while looking for the future. And so that's why, for the most part, I don't question the Jordan Love pick, because I know that that's what they do every single year. So was it the best pick they could have made at that point in time? Looking back with hindsight being 2020, probably not. But the Packers did the best that they did. And at the end of the day, I'm very happy to be a Packers fan and not be a Bears fan or a Vikings fan or a Lions fan, and have never had a quarterback the caliber of Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. We've been able to watch those two guys for the last 30 years, and we have the joy of debating about whether or not Jordan Love might be the third in a trilogy of Hall of Fame and historic quarterbacks. I'm happy to have that.
Ooh. There's
Last
something.
For
thing-
MJ.
Last thing I'll say is when the documentary comes out about all this, it's going to
Yeah.
be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if the last dance thing this year happens. Oh my
Yep.
goodness.
Another thing I want to say, this is the last point I'll make before like any closing argument I'll make. The media outlets, like any of the draft analysts that have like put off saying like, oh, I wasn't high on Jordan Love. And then all those screenshots come out of them taking him over Justin Herbert and Tua. Just shut the fuck up. There's so many fans out there that are like, oh, Jordan Love was a consensus second, third round pick, blah, 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 blah. He was a first round prospect the whole entire week.
Good talk.
Alrighty. Aaron Rodgers is where week 1, 2021?
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
What,
AJ?
AJ?
I already said it in my rant earlier. Like, if you think Aaron Rodgers is under center week 1, I think you just go fuck yourself.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Jake is thinking.
Jake?
Now Jake's going to go the opposite.
Jake, if you say Denver, I will kick you out of this
He's going to say
right
Cleveland
now.
and we get Baker Mayfield.
How's Baker and Odell sound?
Don't tempt me.
Don't tempt me.
Baker and Odell?
Yeah.
You think they do that?
I don't think they need Odell that much.
No, they don't.
I don't think they like
need
Baker. I don't think that's a
They
thing.
won't move Baker.
But Jake,
my
give me the
favorite
answer.
my
Where will
favorite
Green
is
Bay-
Browns fans that are like, oh my gosh, I would take 15 years and never a title with Baker over 2 years and a title with Rodgers. I'm like, yeah, have you noticed your franchise doesn't win? Maybe you should try that.
But Jake, where will Rodgers be?
You
week
just
1,
got your first
2021?
playoff win, like in the last what?
Imagine upgrading, but hey, where will he play week 1?
Quarterback.
He'll play under center, that's for sure. He'll be under center.
Logo will be on his helmet.
It will not be a college offense, that is for sure.
What logo will be on his helmet, Jacob Shavink?
An NFL one.
It's going to be one that I think is a little bit darker than normal. I do think if the Packers are going to maximize what they can and they're going to live with their decision, they need to probably go all in with the decision. I think the decision is dumb, and I thought the decision was dumb since last April. We are going to, in my closing argument, before I make my selection, I would like to say just one, don't overreact, please. Packers Nation, I know it's very difficult for you. Please don't do it. Just the media is going to get it out of control. Please don't. Please, RELAX, relax.
Yeah.
2, the front office, we will remember 2020, no matter what. The 2020 NFL draft will be etched in Packers fans' minds forever. No matter how it goes, we will know. We will remember Goody and LaFleur. Period.
LaFleur, then Goody.
Yeah. And to answer your question, Aaron Rodgers will be taking snaps under center from Lloyd Cushenberry III, week 1 of the NFL season in 2021.
That's Denver, right?
Yeah.
That is Denver, yes.
Okay.
That is Denver, yes. That is their center. He's a pretty solid player, actually.
Yes. I mean,
I'm
you could
sorry
also
that I
argue
don't know
Natane-
Denver's center,
He's not bad.
AJ.
You could
He's not
also argue Natane Booty or Quinn Miners, but
I guess you could argue that. That's true.
Yeah.
I would also like to say that I'm ready for my orange Devontae Adams jersey in 2022. So thank you.
Oh, please don't get Chris started on that.
don't
We
start
have
it.
time for that.
What?
Don't start it.
They're
Don't
going to
have time
have
for that.
Judy in the trade.
Fair point.
They're going to have Judy. The
You're not
cap,
wrong.
the cap is raining down. So Rodgers to Adams will be a thing in 2022. Yes.
It's
Cool.
I mean,
I through
again,
my heart. Good way to end it.
Sorry.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I mean, I could see it.
Yeah.
I think you really have to decide in June what you're wanting to do. Are you wanting to trade him, or are you just wanting to sit and call his bluff and wait for the next offseason?
Another clock is ticking.
Yep.
Another
In
clock
June,
is
another
ticking.
clock starts ticking, and
Yeah. Well, the clock is ticking to June 1st, which is when they can make the move. So yeah, I guess there will be another clock
yeah,
that starts
there
June
could
1st
already-
as well.
there could already be a deal done, and they're
That's
just waiting
true.
until June for the cap number to go down.
Possible.
So I
It's
mean,
possible. So we'll see. This was fun though.
I want to do a quick closing argument because I want to give a shout
Yes,
out.
absolutely.
Shout out Jake. Jake has been awesome on this show so far. I've loved everything he's done, from his rant to even just having to disagree with everyone and saying he's going to be a Bronco. That was awesome. Shout out Jake.
As I don't want it to happen. Okay. AJ said I disagree, but where he's going to play. But listen, If it were up
No,
to
I'm
me,
saying
and like I said,
I
2020 would never have happened.
I love
But,
how you took a stand whenever, like, yeah, don't be consensus, just go for it. I like it.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna be-
the unfortunately the NFC title game. Let's hope I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but hey,
Yeah, I thought he was going to be a Bronco last Thursday night at the end of the night. So I mean,
certainly slipped that way.
yeah.
Also, I'd like to formally say, just give a big old middle finger to Adam Schefter, because not only did he make me waste the last 2 hours of my life, not waste, but this was fun, but he forced us to talk about this for the last 2.5 hours of my life when it didn't need to be talked about. And then also, just because the trade, if it happens, it will not happen until after June 1st, I now have to listen to this bullshit on Twitter for another month. So fuck you, Adam Schefter.
Dude, that's the perfect way to end it.
I mean, yeah. Let's stop there.
Yeah.
Good time, boys.
Good night, and go Pack go.
Good night. Good luck. RELAX.